The clock strikes dead or naked. Relax in a lucid brain from birth me up forsaken. But I keep it real, I speak for just instead of blazing a dove. To free another one that's feel from the start. I got this motherfucker ringing in the side of my head. Deadhead, you better wake up. And if you listen to the ringing, then you've already got your mind made up. Lay out your time, pay up, this is it. Life's more important than material shit. It started Sunday, and now you're falling like rain, trapped in your misery phase. It can't stop it. Deep from your misery, your eyes show me the pain. Deep from your misery. It started Sunday, and now you're falling like rain, trapped in your lizard brain phase. It's yours, control it. It can't be stolen. I hear it calling your name deep from your lizard brain. 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 Darkness fades. I can't rely. Words are clear to me. But you're not here. Come on, I hit it out of the park. This motherfucker rhythm inside of my car. Come make yourself so real, it's a word. So make it motherfucking rain check, making a point. Cause now I'll take the devil with you, my phone. Down on the set, feeling. Around on the set. I get it up there, I get it up from the start. Don't get the thing you feel cause you're falling apart. You look around when you take a shot. I'm so predictable, get high with the damn on. Keep the beat up close, but hit it out of the park. Cause it's hitting dark. Awesome. Come on, treat your breeze on me. When you go away, you're not here. Words are clear. It's your night. I'm 6 over limit. Motherfucking grounds are sitting limit. And I'm not stopping cause I'm not robbing you out cause I'm tropical. And I have a strong opinion. It goes the wrong way and it's the wrong day. You got your bug ass bag and you get it back on track. When you go away, we're because I know that you're not here. Dead last time. Dead last time.
Hey guys. Hey Tim. What's going on?
you doing, Brady, man?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. Little
Sorry,
bit of
dude,
a
I was
slow
just playing
start.
some... Go ahead, Rick.
Oh, I was just saying I got a little bit of a slow start. I was trying to get out of work in time. It was a tight squeeze with my new schedule.
How's everything in the land of America?
Raping, pillaging, the usual.
So how's everything, Brady, my man? How's everything, Patches?
We can't hear you. You are muted. Muted. Well, everything's going pretty good with me. I'm just, I lost music though. That was a little horrible. Right when I went to go publish Seeds Sown, my computer decided to nuke what I had, so I had to completely reproduce the song and did it in a whirlwind last night and almost have it done. I still have to mix and master the lyrics, but Seeds Sown will be out, and I had to redo everything from scratch, but it's about done again.
Cool. Can I just say before we go any further, the tunes I was playing at the beginning, if anybody's not listening or anything, they were by a band called The Tactics from Australia, and it was two new tracks. One was called Lizard Brains, we were hearing when we came in live. So I just wanted to mention a great influence to me and a great inspiration. So I thought I'd just give them a shout.
Cool. Was that Tactics, you said?
Tactics. I will put the link up so everyone can go and find them. But if you find them on Twitter at Tactics, ATTACKS, Tactics.
You're cutting out a little bit. Can you say that again?
Sir, it's at. Can you hear me, man?
Yeah, I got you now.
Okay, dude. So it's at Tactics, which is ATT. ACTI K for Kingsley, S for Sugar. Tactics. You can go to SoundCloud and find them as well.
Oh yeah, cool.
Can you hear me now?
Cool.
We can hear
we
you.
got you now.
Okay.
We're good. How are you doing today, man? You don't have any glorious green screen behind you. That's what your problem is. You're not you're not having fun with life.
I've been updating my stream to a new program, and getting it to work with this as well is not going to happen either. So but I didn't feel like taking it down because it's a mess behind this curtain. So
Yeah, it is what it is. So Tim, congrats on your crowd sale.
Oh, cheers, my man. I'll tell you what was gone.
I was just gonna say, I grabbed myself some seeds so we could start giving them away at sessions.
Perfect. Well, this on the subject of seeds, that has all been done manually, and it's one of the things that I'm quite happy to say in public. I've never done anything like this before, and
Yeah.
It's an unbelievable frustration, the time of length it takes for things to go through on the blockchain. And this has been my real first transaction with the technology, and it's taking 4 hours at times to put two seeds distributions through. But I am getting through it. But yeah, cheers, Brady. And I think the really great thing about I think it's really inspired me since finishing the crowd sale and the money raised has been. It just is a real stamp that there's a lot of people who are putting their money in their pockets, and I've always said this, and it's one thing to talk about things, but it's another thing to actually put money in your pocket. And when people are doing that and actually sort of saying, it's a real, to me, inspiration that things are about to change, and I think people are really starting to really catch on to this, one way or the other. I'm not saying it's going to be with anything, but you can just see this momentum coming, and it's been really inspirational to me, and that's the great thing about the whole of the crowd sale. And has been the fact of wow, never before been so close, and never before has the momentum been so great, and it's we're gonna do it, man.
Yeah.
These are the greatest days to live in, dude.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I just wanted to say you were talking about how long and horrible it is to wait for the blockchain, which, yeah, that is painstaking at times, and doing things manually is like, oh my God, where's the script I can just hit the go button for and just make this happen? And you have to appreciate these days, because this is like the early days of technology, and you're gonna look back when everything is automated, and you're gonna be like, I kind of miss having to do it manually. That was that painstaking struggle that makes it just, it's part of the process.
That's why I use the analogy. We're in that metamorphosis moment, and we're transforming from the caterpillar into the butterfly. And the essence of where we are now, we are literally in that metamorphosis moment. And like you said, the steps are not quite as efficient as they should be. But on the other hand, Brady, man, I mean, when you really take a step back, and I have done sort of the last couple of weeks, thinking, look at where we are in our point of civilization as human beings. That I can do this. I can distribute seeds. We can have these things with just our fingertips, and it really is. This is it's incredible days. I mean, even on a really real sense, you think, could you imagine doing this 10 years ago? That we'd be sitting having this conversation. This conversation about viewing each other, and then to have sort of a conversation about we're basically just making our own ecosphere. We're just going to take the power back and just do it all again. It's incredible when you really sort of step back and you get caught up in all this. And we get caught up in this momentum, and then you take a step back into the real world, and you think, wow, it's going to really shape the future. And like you said, at the moment we're in that clunky moment, but this is just like you'd be old enough to remember. It's like trying to explain to your daughters about what it was like back in the day when we had to get off our asses and go and switch the TV over rather than remote control. It's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I make her do that now. I hide the remote. You gotta experience that. No. No.
It's a fundamental part of life.
It is. I don't want it to be like WALL-E just yet, where we're cruising around in hover chairs and just eating, and that's it. That frightens me. I'm like, how can we sabotage that? No. No. So yeah, things are kind of quiet on my end. I haven't had as much time as I wanted with the all the music, so I don't have a whole lot of new stuff today. But I did want to talk about the projects and ideas, and I've been really thinking about the Safe Network, and when it launches, I'm kind of excited to revisit one of my ideas for doing like a media box, an open source media box, and I really want to push that forward as the network goes live, because A, it'll support the network, B, it gives me an excuse to do a cool open source hardware project, and I'm a hardware geek, so let's do it. And C, I want to try and make it into like a kind of a stupid proof interface on someone's phone, where they just slap it into the media box and the NFC chip brings up the app, and that's all they need to do, and they're interacting with the music on the platform. And in terms of N99, if that's the app that it brings up, that would be really neat, because they'll dock their phone on the little open source 3D printed box with a Raspberry Pi in it, pulls up the app with NFC, and boom, they're just clicking like on music as far as they're concerned, but it's giving artists seeds right there. And it can be that simple. And like you've always said, I'm listening to you, it needs to be really, really simplified. Just bring it down. I just watched your last Life as People, one of the more recent ones, and you were really hitting that make it simple point home, and it really is. It needs to be simplified, and I think that media box idea would be a big way to simplify things. And you could do crowdfunding campaigns for individual artists with the media box. Like, it could be like an artist brand media box. Like, we could do a Sessions branded media box and do another crowd sale just to raise money for the people coming onto Sessions, to where we can actually like generate some type of funds to actually reward people directly, like I've been wanting to, instead of it just coming out of my pocket, which I have everything to give away and got things up and running, and I actually have some seeds coming, so that's going to be for going there. But I want this to become eventually a self-sustaining, open collaborative music production environment, and not just the me show, which at the moment it kind of is just the me show, which I don't mind, but that's
kind
not
of
really
a
the
show as well. I'm here for you.
Well, it's
exposure
it's
for
a,
Patches.
It's a Patches show. That's why we have him come on here. No,
But do you know what? I think with this with Brady? I think it's a case of, like you said, and I think and I'm seeing this from a lot of different angles at the moment. And I think one of the things we could focus on is basically getting, like you said, to open this up more. We need to go out and tell people and say to them, look, come along, invite one person. And, do you know what I mean? And that this is one of the things that I think there's a disconnect at the moment. This is where we as the creative and the artist maybe can this. I think it's a little bit that's missing, is the fact of it's great having all this technology, but now we got to get people involved, and we've got to have these conversations, and this is what we need to do. We need to open these conversations up and say, do you know what, we don't know, we are literally just prodding into the dark. But if we have, instead of just 4 of us or 10 of us, and it starts becoming 100 of us all prodding into the dark, and we've all got our compass set in the right direction, this is how you really, this is how you can really quickly change things on a fundamental note. And this is one of the things, it's like I'm trying to get back to the point, technology, but without the people it doesn't matter. And that's why I think it's important that we, as the creative, because we have that touch that the technologists and the people in that world don't have. We speak to people. That's our role in life as the artists and the creators. We have means to get across to people and bring people together. And I think if we can marry the two, the technology and the people, then that's the way forward. And if not, we're going to have this outbalance where technology is just going to fly off in exponential rate that way, and we're going to be left down here. And we're all going to be, in the sludge.
Yeah, well, I'm concerned about that, which is, I think, my biggest thing. We got to start small and start somewhere. What I want to do for each session is try to get like a featured artist on here, to where I'm not just. It's not all about my music. Are you guys still there? You cut out for a second. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to be all about my music. I like that I'm kind of getting the ball rolling, but I want like a featured artist to come on for each session and kind of say, here's the song I'm working on. I would like to bring it into sessions, into this open collaborative environment, and make it everyone's. And I'm not sure how to do that yet, and I think the best way to go about it would be probably locally. I'm going to go bug some of the local artists around here and try to get them involved. But timing has been a big factor, and I'm not sure how to fix the timing factor, because I'm like, we've been pretty consistent about this day specifically that we do sessions, and it hasn't changed, but I still cannot get anyone to like get the time off from work or their personal lives to show up, other than a couple times, which Ryan has been on here, and a couple other people have poked in, but I haven't gotten any actual artists on here, which has been the hard part for me. So I'm trying to figure out I'm probably gonna have to open this up to more days and doing it on multiple platforms as well. I've been looking at Periscope. I think I'm gonna do different like sessions outreach programs to draw people into the main session event, which is today, and use these other platforms to kind of draw them in, to where if they can't make it, at least they made that one and they can kind of see what it's all about, and we can kind of string them along until they're like, oh, well, okay, I see what you're doing. Maybe we can pull them into the actual sessions. But I don't know. I'm thinking about trying to switch gears with sessions, because it's pretty much just a friends and family thing at the moment. And I've got a couple family members. They poke in and watch sometimes, but that's all it's been so far.
Well, this is the moment where we're at, Brady. I mean, this is the thing. This is, I'll go back to what I'm trying to say. The moment we are in that moment where, okay, we can start to offer rewards. This is the thing. We look at what we've done in the since we started this. We talked about something, and now it's actually, we've got physical. I'm distributing seeds, dude. So I can. Yeah. We've got now ways of actually rewarding people. And that's the thing. If we can just, that's what I think is important now, is just to concentrate on this and say to people, we're not just talking anymore, we're actually doing stuff. Look, dude, you're wearing a sessions hat. I mean, we're moving forward, and this is where we need to. I think this is one of the things I think I've really struck me as one that I've learned as a creative is that because we're the outsiders, we don't tend to have that point of just going in right into the middle of the crowd and saying, look, do you know what? Shaking them up a bit, you know, it's still rock and roll attitude, because we just tend to like be on the edges and get frustrated, and we need to, like you say, I think a really good way of doing it is making a focal point. I've been thinking about this a lot recently, is of doing maybe a whole day of it, and just doing that. Let's get all the people around the world, you know, and make a certain 2 hours block. We just all come together and just put ourselves online and, like say, Periscope, whatever way we can connect, and let's just have a focal day, because dude, I mean, above everything else, and I think this is the most. Let's be really honest. People are lazy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
People don't want to. People are lazy, and you've got to give them something to get out of bed for. If you're going to really break it down to the balls of life, you've got to get them something to get out for. That's why life's a show, dude. That's why people talk about Trump. You've got to give them something, and you know what I mean. So that's why I think if we can just focus on a day and say, right, what we're going to do on this day is we're going to get people all around the world, and we're just going to have a real big sessions. And who knows what will come out of it?
Yeah. Well, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you got. It's nice to see people getting the ball rolling and doing things like this, and I'm excited to get some seeds and start playing around with the tipping ideas and getting people engaged with this. But I've noticed even that isn't quite enough to get people involved. I think I almost feel like I need to actually go out with my phone doing Periscope sessions outreaches and talking to people and asking them what would it take to get you on sessions. Come on, I just want you to sit down. And the first thing everyone has told me every time I ask them is, why haven't you come to a session? I've invited you and you didn't show up. Do I need to kick your ass and get you on here or what? And my friends are always like, oh, well, I don't know. I just don't feel like I could contribute anything. And that's the first thing everyone says is, I don't feel like I can contribute.
You tell them to watch and see what McPatches contributes.
Yeah.
They'll go I can do that.
Well, no, it's not about what you can contribute. It's the interaction. It's about getting people together. And like you said, Tim, it's about people. It's not about what you can contribute. It's just getting people together to have that conversation. And it's just good for people. I mean, when I feel like shit, or I'm in a pissy mood, or I'm kind of depressed, I have sessions to look forward to, and it's something that makes me feel good every month. I'm like, hey, I have sessions, and it makes me feel good. That's kind of like the highlight of my month. It gives me a reason to focus on my music a little bit more. It was my excuse. I was like, yeah, let's do sessions. That's gonna force me to say, hey, I have got to focus on my music at least one time before the session starts, to actually pull things together and have something. And it's helped me. It's put me in a better mood. And even when I'm pissy and depressed or whatever I'm feeling at any given moment, that thought alone just makes me feel better.
Yep.
And let's face it, people are pissed off and depressed in this world because there's a lot of really messed up shit. So let's just come BS, hang out, and I don't care if someone can't contribute anything. It's about, we're being friends, hanging out, talking, BSing, and having something to look forward to.
Brady, maybe I'm a bit, I tend to be more, I don't know, I'm more strong on this because I'm really aware that life, is quicksand. And we all just have this little time in life. So honestly, I come across this a lot of time, people, and especially being the person I am, I have many hours. Well, especially less and less more now, because I've become more refined on it. But I would spend hours with people saying, they'd all agree with you what you're saying, and say, well, okay, why don't you do something about it? And they've come up with a million excuses why they can't do it. And you know what?
Yeah.
I used to have a lot of tolerance for that, but now I'm like, no. That's the problem. That's the problem in the world. Isn't so much the people who don't know, it's the people who do know and don't do anything.
It's that inaction.
Because to me, it's like the old look. Dude, it's the line in one of my favourite all-time films, They Live, and he said, when he turns around and says, "You do it to your own kind," and that to me is a case of you're doing it to your own kind, because if you know about these things and that's what I think probably is. That's what I think. I think the root cause of this, you're going to get philosophical, is that people are lazy, and people think, oh well, someone else will do it. Someone else will build someone else will build the platform. Someone else will bring the technology. Someone else is going to fix the world. Someone, and we've all been bred into this. Leave it to somebody else.
Yeah.
And because we're all in. Everybody has this, and I think sometimes the people who understand technology the most and get on the edge of things, they almost have the exact attitude. Go, oh well, don't worry, somebody in Google will build it, somebody over there will build it, and this is the problem. And because we've all got to. That's what I don't say it cheaply. We've all got to wake up and go, look, you are. The only person that's going to change anything is the individual. And this is what I get really annoyed, Brad. I'm a bit stronger than you, that's what I'm saying, about these people who go, oh, I can't be bothered putting my head around the sessions. I don't want to put... Well, if you're not going to put your head above the parapet, well, go see what's going on in Europe, though. Week on week, there's this, this rising walls. Fascists are coming back. If that's what you're going to do, it's that ostrich in the head sand moment that's always frustrated me, always, because it's kind of like, it's the inaction of the people who are aware that's basically got us to where we are now. And I've always thought this. It was my generation. We all stood there and thought, right, we're going to get rid of this and we're going to get rid of that. And we got rid of racism. Yeah, we've moved the world on. But hey, it was my generation that voted in. Tony Blair had this, had the Gulf War, had kids, and we all sat back and created this world as it is. It's inaction of the people who know. And I get really frustrated with it myself. And I'm less tolerant as I get older about it. People who go, oh, I can't be bothered.
We don't have the time.
Do really something, man.
We really don't have the
Dude,
time.
exactly.
We have at best 100 years to get our shit together as a human race, or we're gonna experience some really nasty shit. And I don't know. I find days where I'm pessimistic and days where I'm optimistic, and I don't know where to balance it, because I'm just like you said, there's a lot of people who are just put their head in the sand and ignore things and let things happen instead of getting up and doing things. And at the same time, I get pessimistic and I'm like, I'm only one person and I can only do so much. And what am I doing? I'm doing sessions and working my life away. So is that really the most I can do? And then I start trying to think of things I can do better, and then I get discouraged that next day because I'm like, man, I'm just only doing this one thing. I can't get people to follow me and help and do this. And I don't know. I'm trying to find a balance to just like shed all that pessimistic stuff and just think I've just got to roll that ball forward, just one step at a time every day. And I think that's the biggest struggle. It's kind of an internal thing. You've got to tell yourself, all right, screw all those people. If they're going to stick their head in the sand, at least I'm the one that's going to push that ball forward. And maybe someone will stand up and watch me and go, wow, he's gone a year straight just pushing that ball forward one step at a time, and maybe eventually they'll kind of help you maybe push that ball, because the ball gets heavy.
Dude, I mean, even beyond that, I think it's even beyond that, even considering anybody else, you can almost be saying, what, you know that you, Brady, exist in your own head. I know that I exist in my own head, and it's my reality. And to me, that's what I was saying about life is quicksand. I've only got one shot at this thing, and I don't care what anybody else is going to do. I just do not want to waste my life. And I think that's my carrot that goes in front of my life. And I think, wow, I've got this short opportunity of time and space and all these conscious things. And I can, like I said, we can sit here and do things that as a kid I dreamed about. So to not enjoy it and not to feel I want to dive right in, that to me is a waste. But on the other hand, Braden, I think this is the real. I think most people forget this. Think, okay, how is your daughter going to judge you when she looks back in 10 years' time or 20 years' time? She's going to go, what? Say the world does go really bad. She's going to go, what? What, Daddy? Why weren't your friends doing this? And how many kids are going to ask their parents and say, why weren't you doing it? Just as we did to our parents, like, how did you allow all that racist stuff in the 60s to go on? Really? How did you see people? Now, don't you think our kids are going to judge us like that? And if that's not an incentive for everybody to think, oh, actually, yeah, that should be, But I'm saying the thing about life is, and that's why I worry less and less and less about other people in this planet, because I don't in the sense of what they think or do, because it's kind of like all I know is that we just got this one shot, and all it takes is if everybody else doesn't do anything and relies to everybody else, that's what happens. Inaction happens. Whereas to stimulate, you need to do something, and you don't care. I don't care about whether my next door neighbour's doing it or that's not really ultimately my concern. My concern is I've got one shot, one life, and just to waste it and sit back and just go, Well, no, that's just a waste of life, because I tell you what, as you know, life goes like a flash. You have kids, dude, you know this. How quickly before you know it, I mean, my son's in his 20s now, and it seems like yesterday I was walking around the park with him on my shoulders. Life flies past, man, and that's what people forget, because they become.
She's getting older, and like it feels like she was just born, and it's already been several years, and I'm like, whoa, okay. Yeah, and it speeds up more and more every day, and it makes you realize, okay, get up, get moving. Every day you stand up, you get up, and you start doing as much as you possibly can, and it's like it's intense. It's a lot to take in, but yeah, I think I agree with you. You gotta not care about all the other people and just keep your own stuff moving forward, and that's what I'm doing. And
yes, dude, I mean, it's one of the great. Go on.
Well, I was just going to say, all that aside, really, I am trying to just pay attention to what is happening. I think that mentality of getting frustrated with other people tends to get you in the mindset of, well, we could be doing this, and why aren't you doing this, and you should do this, and it just kind of frustrates you, gets you pissed off at other people, and holds you back personally. So what I've been trying to do mostly is pay attention to what is happening right now, and shed all that idealism out. I mean, forget isms. Isms are bad. You know, if the word ism has anything to do with your daily life, you should probably rethink things, because it means you're putting labels on things and becoming complacent, and that's a tough one. You've got to. It's a daily struggle. You got to tell yourself, all right, dude, shut the hell up, quit listening to them, move that ball forward, and I'm going to take that somewhere, because if we're paying attention to what is happening, and you're doing crowdfunding sales that are successful, and the world is moving in directions of, like, crowdfunded and crowdsourced ideas and crowdsourced music and all this, something really cool just happened this week in the U.S. with crowdfunding. Title III of the Jobs Act was finally pushed forward, and it was supposed to happen like in 2013, and now it finally went through. And Title III of the Jobs Act allows you to issue equity in a crowdfunding project, instead of having, like, a lot of these crypto projects have been trying to sidestep the fact that it was illegal, like straight up illegal. You're not allowed to. The SEC will come knock on your door and say, all right, we're shutting down your whole project and confiscating everything and ruining your life if you try to like give people a piece of the pie for your project, even though they helped fund it on Kickstarter, which was just absolute insanity. And I'm not sure what the laws and situation is there, but it was freaking stupid that was even a thing here. But just this week, that is finally over. So now it is actually legal in the U.S. for me to say, hey, everybody, I'm crowdfunding my new album, and I want you to have a piece of the pie legally and actually have equity in my music permanently if you help me fund it. And that I can actually do that now. And I was thinking in terms of the way your Seeds project works, because it's really difficult to like know who gets what and what chunk of the pie and everything, but it's a lot easier if you just simplify it and say, hey, Patches has been on sessions, Travis has been on sessions, my friend Jake's been on sessions, my friend Joe's been on sessions. I know what their email address is, and I have a spreadsheet with how many seeds they've earned for being on sessions. And hey, guess what? If you have X amount of seeds, you also get direct fucking legal equity in my music permanently forever, and I can legally do that without someone knocking on my door and like telling me I can't like do that. So while I hate the legal side of it and the intellectual property rights and all that garbage and mumbo jumbo, and I can't wait until it's obsolete, it is a stepping stone to that future I want to see. So I was excited to see that happen this week here.
Yeah, and I just sort of like, I think the overriding one of this, Brady, and I think beyond everything else, and beyond where we are in all of this life stuff, I mean, you were saying about what, it's almost a Zen moment of it. This is the whole point. Go out. I say this to people all the time. Do you know what you need to do in life? Don't stress. Whenever people are getting stressed and stuff, and you must know this more than me. You know, you live down that part of the world in America, with all that's going on with Mexico and all the, just the general. And I just say to people, do you know what you want to do? Go out and just take a walk. And we've forgotten to do the simple things in life, man. I swear to God, we have. We've forgotten to do the things of just going out. It's the old thing. Go wake up and smell the flowers, man. Go out and just take a walk. Go and see. Go out at night time. I always say to people, go out at night time and stare at the sky above you. And if that doesn't make you just humble and realise that, you know what, hey, and that's what people forget. They don't do. They've forgotten to do the simple things, and they get tied up in all these minutiae. And if you want to get on a level of it, this is where I think. I mean, look at the world we live in, Brady. It's one of the things that considers me. We live in the most technical age, but we've got the rates of mental illness going through the roof. And why? Yeah. Because people become detached. They become detached from things, and this is what people need to do. They need to start this. Because if you sit there and you concentrate and you worry, it leads to that kind of you're going to get into corners and your mind becomes all knotted up, and you just need to breathe out. And this is what people forget to do, and they forget just to go out. Again, it's one of the things. One of the joys of having kids. You'll know this. When we're in the happiest moments in your day, when your little daughter goes, you're out in the park or something, or whatever. They're the moments of your day. It's not about how much money you made in your day, or did I run faster on my on my 10K run, or did I score more points on Doom or whatever. No, it's that little moment. And this is what people are forgetting in this life. And that's what I think I keep trying to go back to it, but this is what we can do. This is why I don't want to. There's no point in some way sitting there talking about all this technology if it doesn't mean real things to real people. That's why I say it's got to be simple, and it's just got to be every day. And we're the only ones that can bridge this gap, because this is where this dystopia of the future comes from. Is that technology runs away from us, and we have no human touch. And the only one that's ever going to keep the human touch is this. And I think that the core of it is what people need to do is just reconnect. And it's a simple one. Reconnect to people, man. Go and it's like the thing I say. Go and give your kids a hug. Tell them you love them. Go and give the person you're living with, give them a hug and tell them you love them. It's the simple things. That's what we need to get back to. The simple things.
Yeah. Well, reaching out to people and actually doing those things, it's hard for a lot of people because they are so wrapped up in that day-to-day crap that just they can't just relax and think, hey, that is what's important. And I think that's what I'm really trying to get at with sessions is I had a friend night before last. I game with him in the evenings and we kind of BS and we talk kind of similar to what we're doing here right now. And I was like, you should come on to sessions. He's a writer and he's a really good writer too. And his name is Jacob, and I really want him to come on here because writing is one of the most intricate kind of creativity you can possibly delve into. I mean, he's the kind of guy that can quote all kinds of famous authors and lines in their books, and you're just like, wow, that kicks ass. And you can talk to him about these things, and I'm like, you should come on sessions and just talk that same thing. And he's like, well, I don't know. I don't know what I could bring to the table. I don't know if, you would even want me there because I wouldn't be able to say anything interesting. And I'm like, man, the conversation we're having right now is what we do on sessions. I just want you to be on sessions doing the exact same thing we do anytime we sit here in BS. And that is what sessions is about. It's about connecting. It's about reaching out. Yes, we might be on the internet and he may be in another state, but we're connecting, I can't reach out and shake his hand, but I consider this reaching out and shaking your hand. I mean, we're both taking that time to sit there and say, hey, I appreciate you enough to spend some time, just at least, even if we don't do anything of merit, at least we're connecting, staying on the same page, and being human.
Dude, this is the thing. This is the merit. This conversation about being, talking like this is the merit. And my response to your writer friend being, especially from someone I'm dude, my passion is to ironic. People think I'm an artist. My passion is writing. That's been my long time. That's what I did my degree and everything. My point to that person would be, do you know what I say to him? Get yourself on screen. Okay, maybe people don't want to see your face, but it is important for people to see your face, and just have this conversation because we don't get this. People don't get to see this. You're not going to get this conversation on NBC. You don't
No.
get to see people being real, and you don't.
No.
And the thing is, people to inspire. It's like, oh well, why would why? How do we know that this conversation, maybe not now, maybe in a year's time, some kid's going to pick this up and go, oh, do you know what? I've always wanted to be a writer, and now I'm going to. And he's sitting there listening to a random podcast, listens to that guy like I did with Bill Hicks, and he went bang. It changed my life about a lot of things. This is what I always say to these people: don't have the arrogance to assume that what you say isn't going to have any effect, because I think that is foolish. I really do. I think having no effect is when you don't do anything at all. Having any conversation, doing something has an effect.
You know what's frustrating about my friend too is I've been trying to get him on here, and he has like this like podcaster voice. It's very articulate and very like straightforward. He's like blah, 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 blah. He sounds like he should be saying something of merit. He's the kind of guy that could be talking about pancakes and you're at full attention listening. And I'm like, dude, you have to come on to sessions. We need people like you. Like, you could talk about popcorn and people would listen.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what I'm saying, my man.
It's great.
That's what I always say. That's the point, dude. Listen, I'd much prefer to hear someone like McPatches or your friend than listen to my annoying Cockney accent. I've got the worst accent in the world, mate. It's high pitched. It's all like, all right, mate, I'm a fucking Cockney.
Hey, you want to know? I'll be honest. Your accent is one of my favorites in the world.
Yeah,
straight up.
That's a money accent right there.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Your accent, when I put the clip of your voice into my song, you probably hate it, and everyone else I played it for fucking loves it. straight up. Like, no, it's like he said, it's a money accent. Don't even like downplay it at all. It's great. If I could fake it, I would, but I won't.
No, but I mean, going back to what you're saying, going back to it, I mean, I think that's the point, because it's been the process of having this conversation that I've got to know, for instance, how musicians work. This is what we do, and I think this is why it's really needed to be done, man. I think it's really important, and like you said, let's have other voices, man. I want to, let's have everybody. That's what I'm trying to say. People are important, and it's. I don't know, dude. I'm like you, because I'm an artist, man. I swing from one side to the other, and I tell you, my dark thoughts, and when I go down that line, I just think it's not only, it's imperative people have these conversations. It really is, because it's the non-action of people, and that's why I think it's almost I don't know, man. I've lived in parts of the world, and if I was going to talk to your writer friend, I'll say, look, dude, you've got the opportunity to get on the screen and do this. There's people right now I know who want to be writers, and they haven't got a chance because they got malaria ridden. They're walking 10 miles to get some water. Come on, man. We can't, that's the privilege we got as being Westerners, and having this ability to sit and have this conversation, drink some beers on a platform, and have the conversation around the world, man. That's we haven't got an excuse.
I do want to talk about some sessions / N99 related stuff. Oh, by the way, I'm no longer working kind of a random schedule now. When I'm off at 5 o'clock and on here on sessions, I am a captive audience for you guys for the evening, and I have no other obligations, so we can BS for a while about things.
Nice.
I have a normal schedule finally. I was doing those random late night hours and weird, just random stuff. I don't miss it. It's nice to have this general, evenings and weekends are free thing now. Hang on one second. I'm gonna pull up something that was kind of N99 inspired here. If I can find it. Hang on. Yeah, N99. Novelist crowdfunding is the name of the document here, which it's Novelist, if no one knows, was the idea for my open source media box project that I'm going to do, which I think it's going to be really cool. There's a couple guys already doing something similar for not music related stuff, and not N99, and not even Bitcoin related stuff or cryptocurrency. It's just kind of stuff like OuterNet, where it's just bringing people pretty much Wikipedia where they otherwise wouldn't have it, for the lowest overhead possible, just to bring information to humanity. But those projects were open sourced and could easily translate into the media box idea I had. So, are you there, Tim? I think. Oh, you're here? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. Go on.
Okay, I just saw your avatar and not your face.
Oh, sometimes we have this issue with it. Yeah, I think sometimes the pixelation breaks down, so we tend to get images rather than. Go on, I'm here.
Okay, so a lot of it was I was looking at the crowdfunding aspect of things and really focusing on it, especially because this week it's like a legal thing where you can give people a piece of the pie and give them perks and a piece of the pie. But you can do like a peer-to-peer artist store if you wanted, and like on N99, I'm not sure where your head's at with what you're wanting to go with a lot of these things, but the peer-to-peer markets with people with creative abilities is something I've really been focusing on, and a way to actually get people to connect. So let's say I have an artist store on N99. I want hats, I want shirts, I want hoodies, I want figurines, 3D printed boxes for my media box idea, but I don't have the knowledge, ability, or time to put that all together myself. I wanted to have like a marketplace on like an artist page on N99 to where I say, well, here's what I want. I want my artist store to have these items available for people, and it's a request that goes onto the market, and automatically I can put up like, pay up front. Here's how much I'm offering to make this happen, and then someone could come do like a matching one to take that contract, if you will, because the Safe Network should have really fairly simple smart contracts right out of the gate to do this type of thing. So say I put up a little bit of funds on a smart contract, and the person who wants to take the contract can match those funds, and it'll be in a multi-signature address. Okay, well, if I mark that the items were received, boom, I can release the funds, and it sends their funds back to them and the funds that I added to make that happen. And it's kind of like a trustless contract that you could use like that to get an item for your artist store made in a nice peer-to-peer market environment, to where it's not a store. Like these hats and the hoodies and everything, I mean, that was nice that I could get that done really easily, but I would prefer to like actually go to an individual who has the ability to put those things together and say, hey, here's how much I'm paying to make this happen. I'd rather have it go to this open marketplace to have it happen, and then it goes up on my artist store, and you guys can ship it out directly from your shop anytime there's an order. Take a cut of it, and the people on my store get Brady hats or Brady sweaters or Sessions hats or Sessions sweaters, whatever the case is. I need a better band name than Brady. That sounds like I just defecated or something. But anyway, do you kind of get what I'm getting at, like with kind of doing the peer-to-peer store?
Yeah, maybe not a conversation I particularly want to have in a public conversation, but dude, yeah, I'm ahead of you. Put it that way.
Cool.
Because I think the thing is, as you know, my aim and focus has always been to be cut out every single middleman.
Yeah.
And you know how and you know what Daniel's building with the SafeX. And the thing is, and I really want to sort of say this, and I think it is worth saying that solutions are going to come one way or the other, and that's the point I think it's going to be, and it's almost like it is like like I said earlier, we're all prodding into the dark. And the point I'm making is solutions are going to come very quickly, I think, one way or the other. And where with this conversation, I think if we can look back in a year's time, we'll be like, oh, well, look at them, they were having that really quaint conversation about how they could swap an artist store or something. And what I'm trying to say is that, and as you know, I think it's one of the things that has been really inspiring to myself. Myself only is inspired me to think, if I can go out, as you know, I can go out, have an idea. Where we are in human civilization, you can do it, do a percentage and distribute and make some money. This is the point now. We've got the ability to, as you said before, to directly fund each of these projects. And as you know, these and I think this is one of the things that really inspires me is that a lot of these crowdfunding ones, a lot of the projects around it, the ones that really work are the people who aren't driven by, okay, I want some of that. I'm going to take a huge cut of that, what I get in the crowdfund, to get my big offices, and I'm going to get, staff members. No, they just want their project fulfilled. And if you get to, I think we're like it always has been in human civilization. If you can get to where the resources that are raised are directly put into something as much as possible, man, that's when things happen. That's why it's old analogy. I mean, I live 2 or 3 miles away from James Watt, and James Watt, if you know history, most of the electricity stuff that we got now is from James Watt, and he was the same. It was an archetypal thing, he's a guy who just sat there in a room for hours and hours and hours, and every penny he had was to push this forward, not to sit there and go, oh, look at my big building with my staff members and how important I am. And this is. And the point I'm making is, when we as humans focus our energy with the resources, well, look at us. We focus energy, we get resources. With those resources, we focus our energy and our intent with those resources. Man, it's only, as I keep trying to say, and I'm really sincere on this, the possibilities of what we want are only limited by our imagination. Solely. That's it. And the rest is basically, if we can think it, someone can do it. And that's what I'm trying to say. In 99, all I've done, even the last month, is going to show me, like, just go out there, step into the breach, and then people come along and it can get done. And that's the really inspiring thing.
Can I tell you about an idea then? On that aspect, you say if you have an idea, someone can do it. Well, you sparked an idea. I think it was you who posted it. I'm not sure whose initial idea it was, but putting like a game on top of the Safe network to where it like pays you.
Like gamification of art,
yeah, it was like a Tetris type game or something. I was thinking of something similar, but like because I've been trying to think of how people can critique my music, right? Multiple versions of my songs and try to see which one everyone actually likes more than the others. And I thought about doing this this curator canon game where like a song plays and people can actually like use a tomato cannon, like throwing tomatoes at people on the stage when they don't like something, and do that through the song, and you can see what parts of the song people liked and disliked and use that as your feedback when you're writing your songs. And I thought it would be really neat to kind of like do that, because you could like pay people seeds for like actually participating in this and getting a high score in the game or something, and actually give them a direct reward and incentive for you getting feedback for writing your music. And that's something I really want to see happen, because musicians are locked in a bedroom writing songs for hours thinking, oh, this sounds amazing. Then you present it to your friends in the public, and they like the really crappy one that it took you 30 seconds to write, and the one that took you 6 months to write, they're like, it's okay. And you're like, God damn it. And I think that would be just a fun way to address that issue for writers.
Yeah, well, dude, now you as you know, my whole concept behind the scenes is exactly this. And because I think, just to almost synergize with what you were just saying. I mean, the Seeding Demons, they're at their first album cover. I spent 6 weeks painting this really intricate painting for them, and they were like, "Yeah, we love that." And then I started another one, and I ended up doing about 12-15 weeks of painting these things. And I said to them, "Look, dude, I've done it." And they're like, "Yeah, brilliant, that's what we want." And then I finished that night, and I was like, just in a, like you say, a throwaway moment, I had a little canvas, and I went, and I just posted saying that, done this tonight, lads. That's it, I'm done. I'm looking forward to seeing the album and everything. And then the next morning I wake up and they're like, that one you just sent, that very last one, that's it. And so it happens all over the place. And like you're saying, but I was trying to really reiterate over and over again, this stuff is happening now. I'm not sitting here a year ago and saying, "Oh, I want Seeds to happen and I've got a dream." No, this is happening now, and we're soon getting to the point where it's not just resources we can do. We're not, we can start swapping anything for anything. This is a great thing about the Seeds. You can swap anything for anything. You can swap time. You can swap art, you can swap stage gigs, anything you like, and this is going to change everything, because that's all we all want as human beings. Is just to, and I think this is where the paradigm shift is. We're going from a world of where, as we are now, to one where likes are going to be the big thing in the world. You know, rewarding people directly is going to be the new paradigm. And the great thing is, great, we're the ones that started it off. It's brilliant, and that's the really thing. We've got the advantage on our side. Is okay, people might not understand us, we not get their heads around us right now, but hey, in 5 years' time, everybody's going to have to be doing this one way or the other. This paradigm of where we are now is going to change, and do you know why it changes? Because it's like the same. You've seen the music industry. The world changed the first time they heard hip hop, or the first time the white man had the blues. Everything changed, and it's the same thing. It's now just a matter of time. It has shifted, and what I'm trying to say is, Brady, that all these conversations. This is what this is kind of goes back to what I was trying to say. I would love to have a day when we can sit and get maybe just 15 people, all through this platform of Google Hangouts or through other ones. We just get us all together and we just have almost like a go. Okay, let's all put down X amount of resources and have 1 hour, and let's see what we can decide what we're going to do with those resources for the best thing we need to do. And we can do it in a swarm mentality, and that kind of. These are the possibilities you could do, and the only thing that's stopping us is us not doing it. So this is what I'm trying to say, and this is, to me, if that doesn't inspire most people, go look. We're going to need 2 hours of your life. We're going to put some money on the table, and in that 2 hours, we're going to decide what's the best way of using those resources to what we need to achieve. And then we go out there and we achieve it. And then a week later, we come back and we say,
put some seeds in the swear jar. You just said money. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly, dude. Yeah, exactly. Oh no, I was doing so well.
Seeds, not money on the table. We're putting seeds on the table, not money.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to interrupt you and say that. Sorry.
No, you're right, man. You're right. That's right. That's exactly it. But this is the point, and I try to say to everybody else as well. And I think this is, as you know, what we can do with seeds, and this is what they're there for. But as I say, this is just the beginning, and this is why I do put the call out again and again, and I think it's really important that you put the call out to your friends, and Patches, you do the same, man. Put it out to everybody and say, look, we need people. We can't just be done with me, you, and 4 of us. We can't do anything. But if we get 10 of us, and then it becomes 100, and then you've got 1,000, and that's 100 people all sat around with an idea and a specific time point, and with resources, we could achieve anything. But it needs people to do it. And that's why I say
mob.
What is that? A crowdsourced flash mob?
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
crowdsourced flash mob.
Pay for it.
I think that's a thing now. I think they're doing that in China now. I think I saw that on the news.
All right. Well, somebody has to contact China. We'll get some of those guys to help seed some stuff here, and then
Americans are lazy. You have to kick them in the ass to crowdsource anything.
We have to outsource our crowdsource.
Yeah, we have to outsource the crowdsourcing of a flash mob and incentivize it. Yeah, if that gives you an inkling, that's unfortunately not far from the truth.
Yeah.
Well, I have a lot more. I was gonna say I have a lot more on some of the ideas, but like you said, you want to. I'll share that with you in private. It's a document, and I'll send it to you. And I want you to just tear it apart, hand it to some developers, see if any of it's ridiculous. Some of it's like shooting for the sky kind of shit that might be a little crazy, because I do those late night brainstorming sessions and weird stuff comes out. And I did share the mind map for my media box idea with you, didn't I?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's kind of the beginning of it. This is kind of like a supplemental thing for that to kind of help further that idea. But I think that media box idea is going to be a really cool thing. And David was on here before. He sounded like he stopped when I told him that, and I was like, we could get artists to push forward with this to support the network. And he was like, whoa, that's a cool idea. I was like, yeah, dude, let's do it. Call all your developers that you know and tell them, let's make this happen, because it'll be in your benefit too.
So, as outside of the box as I can be, hopefully not too long. What exactly is this media box? Is it just a box that holds the media, makes the media?
No. Okay. The Safe Network. Let me just give you a brief rundown. Is basically, in a nutshell, you're renting your extra hard drive space out, and the network itself pays you SafeCoin to be able to do that. But that kind of incentivizes people to actually do it. But I want like average people like incentivized to actually participate in the network. And if you had a media box that was just like this artist or Sessions branded media box that you got as part of a giveaway for being on Sessions, and you won it in a drawing, and all you have to do is plug it in and let it run, and it just basically will have hard drives in it that is renting the space out to the network, and that box
I wouldn't be buying my
money.
own hard drives. It wouldn't just be like a software platform. It would have all that stuff built in.
Yeah, straight up.
Okay.
And it would be, I want to do something like this and give them away at Sessions as prizes to kind of get people the idea of, hey, look, this media box, all you do is plug it in, and it just generates money. And instead of showing, like, because no one wants to deal with money and currencies and crypto and all this, the average people don't freaking care at all. They could care less. They have way more to worry about. Okay, but if you had this box, if you got this box that just sat in your room and all you were told, like, hey, you won it at Sessions for participating, you plug it in and it generates money that can be spent on the artist's store, and it just shows up as points on each artist profile that you have interacted with. Like, because it's not going to be just me and Sessions, it's going to be like all the artists on the Safe Network and N99, right? So you go to a profile, and if you've liked and subscribed to that artist, or bought stuff, or crowdfunded for them, or whatever, that you've interacted with them in some way on there, it'll show a points balance and say, hey, you've earned this many points on the artist's store, and it can be spent on concert tickets, hats, shirts, all kinds of whatever from the artist directly. That's all that people would care about. They'd be like, hey, yeah, that's cool. I get discounts on free concert tickets. Sure, let's do it. And that's all they'll see. But at certain intervals, it will actually like say, hey, congratulations, you actually earned this amount of money, and incentivize people. Like, they're actually, because the box itself is earning money for being plugged in. You're basically, it's like mining a cryptocurrency, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it should be hidden from the average person until certain intervals when it's like, hey, you've earned $10 worth of actual real money, and then tell them, like, boom, hey, guess what? You have $10. You can either spend it on the artist's store with those points, or you can hit the cash out button and it just sends straight to your bank account.
Or an Amazon gift card.
Amazon gift cards would be awesome for the developing world, especially because a lot of them are living off those.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm down.
But that's
I got the room for it. Everything all set up. It's just send me one.
That's where I'm going. But no, if you want to get involved with this, though, you were talking to me about peer-to-peer networks and and all that. We got into that conversation. But to be honest, a lot of those other projects are just they're just some of them are straight up scams. Some of them are bullshit. Some of them won't. The electricity that to run them isn't even worth it. However, N99 is going to be a little different because you're actually becoming like a part of Sessions loosely. You're becoming a part of some artist. You're becoming a part of Tim's work. You're becoming a part of the actual Made Safe network. You're becoming a part of all these loosely organized projects, very indirectly, just by us giving away Novelist media boxes or selling them as a reward to the crowd sales. And here, this is the thing. You know how NFC chips work?
Yes.
Have you looked into that at all? You know how you can just like put your phone against one and it'll bring up an app if you have it programmed to do that?
Or we share contact. Boom.
Yeah,
we have
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I want to happen when you place your phone in the dock. There's just an NFC sticker right there in the dock. You just have to literally get those stupid stickers, stick it inside the Novelist Media Box, and boom, it's mining MadeSafe coin, it's connecting to your phone with NFC, and when you place your phone in the dock, it brings up like the N99 app, and you're interacting with artists and liking and subscribing, and it even downloads that music onto your phone and lets you listen to it when you're not at home on your media box as well. But I wanted to get this really nice like introduction letter put together for the box once I get it all put together, saying, hey, thank you very much, you're participating in an open source collaborative experiment called the MadeSafe Network, and also helping crowdfund the artist's music. Would you like to donate the earnings from the box to the artist or the MadeSafe Network, or would you like to crowdfund a project, or would you like to keep the funds? And you could actually ask this in the setup. So you dock your phone, boom, it comes up and says, what would you like to do? Click, I'd like to do this. Click, I'd like to do this. And boom, you're set up, done. Very simple, easy, and that's my idea for my media box. And I want it as simple as possible. And I don't care how long it takes, but I want my media box idea to happen, even if someone steals the fucking idea.
Yeah.
Because it's open source. The point is, it has to be open source so anybody can do it as cheaply as possible, even if they can't afford to buy one of my branded ones from the crowdfund. If someone in the developing world buys an $8 stick computer, one of those, I forget what they're called, but there's an $8 Linux computer you can buy. You can plug that into, or you can use a Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pis are going to be dirt cheap when the next ones start coming out. As it is, I think you can get a Raspberry Pi for $10 on eBay now. So $10 and a 3D printed box that it fits inside with some type of storage, whatever storage you can afford. Boom, you have your Novelist Media Box if you want to do an open source version of it. And it's all free online. You just click download, hit print if you have your own 3D printer, or hit order from someone else, and someone who has a 3D printer, they'll send it to you.
Yeah.
So that's the Novelist Media Box in a nutshell. There was actually, when I said someone should just steal the idea, I'm totally down for that, but some scammer group that did an altcoin actually stole my idea and tried to do, I think it was called the Rocks Box, and they tried to steal my idea, and they scammed a bunch of people, and I was so pissed. I was like, guys, do you have any idea how, like, perfect of an idea that is? You could have, like, actually done a legitimate project and made billions more money than just scamming people for, like, $10,000 and running. Like, okay, great, wonderful, you stole the idea, dumbass. You could have ran with it. But that's another thing. I'm about just putting ideas out there and not keeping them secret, because that's the kind of shit that just makes ideas die, is just keeping them a secret.
Yes. As far as your media box, do you want to have it like dedicated phone, or do you want to be able to like have a tablet on it too?
Anything. Anything that can communicate with NFC. Because that's the easiest way.
What's the basic storage capacity you're looking at? Because you buy like those little terabyte drives would fit perfectly under a phone and on top of the Raspberry Pi. It'd be a little tiny box.
Anything
or you could buy
that doesn't
a bank of them that's like 30 pounds worth of hard drive kind of stuff.
Anything, because if you're looking at the Safe Network, I mean, you could buy an entire warehouse of hard drives and computers and run that on the Safe Network, or you could just have a little Raspberry Pi just because you want this passive generation of points on the artist's store and you don't really care about cryptocurrency. It depends on the person using it. Like, if someone is a hardware geek like me, yeah, they're probably going to have this pile of fucking hardware in the corner of the room generating all kinds of safe coin, and great, wonderful, you can do that. It's totally scalable. You could do an SD card and a Raspberry Pi and call it good. You know, that you could have it that simple.
So basically all you're looking for is the software then?
The software is going to be, well, Tim's app, N99, you know?
Oh, okay.
Because you dock it, and it's like, boom, it just brings up N99, and it's just an interface to communicate with the Safe Network. That's it. You just need something to connect to the Safe Network, and that you're good. And he's already doing it, so we might as well use his platform, because that's already happening, instead of me having to do my own.
So
not to mention...
you're not even looking for bits to be made. You're just looking to get the money to slap the bits together and have it done.
Well, just like the idea of cryptocurrency, it's shit that already exists out there. You just have to slap it together in one neat little pie and hand it to people and say, look, this is the technology. I just slapped it together like Legos and handed it to you. Now use it.
Okay. And so why aren't we already starting on this then?
We are. We are.
We are.
Physical. You have a physical, tangible prototype, almost-ish, or
Yes, because there's hundreds of thousands of different Raspberry Pi 3D printable boxes. That's all we need to use. We don't need to have it any more special than that. To start, we just use those freely available open source 3D printing designs, and we either order them or buy a 3D printer ourselves and make them ourselves. But what I want, my thing is, I want a Sessions branded one to give away and use for crowdfunding rewards for Sessions, because I'm going to do a crowdfunding sale eventually, especially now that crowdfunding is legal now. I can actually give people a piece of the pie. So I'm going to do a crowdfund after the dust settles with the legal shit in the United States. So when I come out publicly and I'm like, I'm Brady McKenna and doing a crowdfund and I want everyone to own my project collaboratively, I don't just get my music shut down. But that's part of the reason why I'm open sourcing it as well, because that kind of mitigates any of that retarded intellectual property game that's played. And it embeds my music in an immutable database to where there's no arguing who created that music, when it was created, how it was created, and when it came onto the network. It basically replaces copyright completely in every single way. And I believe there's a couple European countries that are actually passing laws right now that make that actually a legal argument in court. If something has been placed on a blockchain, that's actually, you could bring that to court and say, hey, Disney, remember that song you stole? Well, that was mine, and it was placed on a blockchain on this date, so pay up.
Yeah. Well, dude, I mean, that's, as you know, that's exactly the point behind a 99. You put any content up, it'll be watermarked, and then whenever it's played, regardless of whether it's on an N99 or anything, anytime anyone plays it anywhere in the world, it's going to be automatically go back to you because you put the thing out originally. And that's all we can do. It's the same thing as why I put a signature on a piece of artwork. Because yeah, everybody can copy, but the only thing that's saying is I did it and I put the effort in, and this is to me the essence of where we're going to go to. We want to reward each other personally. That's exactly it. And the reason I do put a signature on a piece of artwork is people go, oh wow, I want that because I want him to succeed. I want him to get rewarded, and that's exactly what the very point of what you just said then. That's where watermarking going, and that's where, like you said, it's just a case now of. Well, I mean, that's my response back to you, Chris. Was exactly it. We're doing this now, dude. You know, I've got, you know, there's money there now. It's just a case of getting this done. You know, it's all a win-win-win. You know, it's just a case of getting this stuff done now. And I think it's like you said, Brady.
Chris, you have seeds too.
Well, yeah, but I'm thinking. I'm still on the media box and the production thereof. I know that you want to crowdsource this and crowdsource that, but if you wanted to pick up an example and have it there, this is physically what I'm talking about. This one's mine.
Yeah,
and, you know, it's not for sale. But it would be relatively easy. The 3D printed boxes are great. Shipping is whatever, but you can literally buy milk crates with your name on them for $12 milk crate.
Yeah.
And so anything that can fit in a 1 foot by 1 foot cube, that's a lot of hard drive space. And if it's just a little tiny little Raspberry Pi and a sticker on top.
My advice to you,
cord.
My advice to you is do that personally, because you probably won't regret it if you do, and stuff hard drives in a milk crate and get it on the safe network as soon as it launches. In fact, as a test net, I highly advise learning how to use it before it goes live. And when it goes live, you're just ready to just press the on button, because you probably won't regret it if you do. However, from what you're saying for the crowdfunding side of things and actually saying, here's the actual Novelist Media Box, I want it to look fancy as shit. I want it to be really nice looking. I want it to be this thing that when someone gets it in the mail as a reward for being on Sessions, they're just like, wow, that's fucking cool. That's what I want the reaction to be. I don't care if it's open source. I don't care if anyone can make it. I don't care if you can stuff it in a milk crate. I want this to just be something that when someone gets it in the mail, they're like, wow, that's fucking cool. Excuse my language.
Well,
my daughter's in the other room. We're good.
yeah. But, like, I don't know any of this. So you guys are talking on a level, all the technical jargon you guys are doing is beyond me. I want to think production and, like, how can I help you make this now? And, like, have these sold and out there. If you had, like, a couple of milk crates with your name across them built, ready to be shipped out as soon as somebody were to buy or do you prefer people to go and get the 3D printed box somewhere and do they assemble it themselves? Are you selling a unit, or are you selling basically the knowledge on how to make the money?
Both, absolutely both equally, because when I do a crowdfunding sale, I want you to imagine a Kickstarter page in your head, okay?
Yeah.
I want you to see, here's what I'm doing, here's my music, here's I want to raise money. I don't really have a target how much I want to raise. I just want it to go to everyone who's participating, whatever I raise. I don't
dollar
care.
sign question mark. That's what you have. Money.
I don't fucking care if it's seeds. I don't care about money. I care about like the project, okay? I care about pushing the ball forward. So, but when you're looking at the Kickstarter page, there's always the perks on the side, right? Well, one of the larger perks, if you donate a decent amount of money, I'm just going to straight up give people this Novelist Media Box plus all the specs and hardware and 3D printable designs that they can just download and hand to their friends and say, hey, look, I got this cool box, and here's all the schematics on how to make it yourself. Here's all the hardware you need. And because I don't want it to be like this like commercialized thing. I'm huge on the open source community. I'm huge on open source. My music is open source. I don't fucking care about intellectual property. So someone's going to get a Novelist Media Box, and where the money is going to be is in the designers on the marketplace who design the little snap-on components that make the Novelist Media Box unique and look cool. Because I mean, okay. I don't know if you've looked at like the designs people are doing with 3D printing, but it's amazing. That is a new form of art, is 3D printing CAD designs. I love it, but I want it to be like, I want a very like basic shell that components can snap onto, to where you have just this totally customizable Novelist Media Box. I want it to be, the chaos of the internet needs to like brew what that's going to look like, and everyone's is going to look different, everyone's can look unique, and you can even print out your own and design it on your own computer, and here's all the parts. I'm just going to be doing a Sessions branded one that just looks sleek and nice and makes people feel good that they got something decent for the time they spent helping crowdsource it. So if that gives you an idea of where my head's at.
That clarifies my cues.
And
but
can I
also,
just add on to that? Can I just say, while you're there, just to linger on that point, Brady, I mean, the great thing, it links back to what you were saying about the article I put about gamification of art. The great thing about what N99 particularly is going to release is, you said about designers, man, you'll be able to, people will be able to design, put a design up, people will be able to view that and get some seeds for it, and then the person who comes up with this is what I'm trying to say. We're just basically getting rid of the middleman and saying, look, let's make this an open, like you say, just where everybody can see everything. And then, because I think it's one of the things that's driven me behind N99. I don't have any particular. I'll tell you, this is straight up. When I'm designing my UI, I've gone right back to the point of my main focus has always been, I want it as stripped down as possible, because I think the person who uses it should have all the creativity how they want to design it. You know what I mean? It's almost like the Honda versus the. Let's take two cars. We've got Renault and Honda. I don't know if you know about Honda, but all Honda parts can be put in every other Honda car. So you can take, you know, like, so I used to know a guy down in Argentina, and he had an old 87 GRX. And he could every year they modified it. He could just take that one component and put it in, and then mix and match his car, and then that. Now this is the way of the future, and this is what I'm trying to say with N99. That's my point to patches. The people will be incentivized to come up with designs, and they will come up with all these things, because it's not just a case of like let the person do which they may want to do, but if you can reward the people come up with all these designs, and we're back to this is what I'm saying. Then you're gonna it gives that person who has the designs in his head, instead of thinking like you were talking about earlier on, Brady, my man, the person is sitting there thinking, oh, what is the point? Suddenly he's got a reason, because he's thinking, oh, I can come up with an idea just by, and then I'm going to get rewarded by it because if people like it. And this is where I think the essence of that's where real life is. It's like you need to have that. It's a want of a better word, but you need to have that marketplace of competition, that place where people can just go out and come up with ideas, and people have to choose and pick and choose and pick and choose and pick. And suddenly, if like you say, especially from the artwork, I can draw loads of art stuff, but at the moment I'm not getting rewarded. It's the same with designers. Some guy might have a really great design for your Novius box, you know, and think that's going to be the slickest thing ever. But right now he's got no incentive at all to do it. And what I'm trying to get across to Chris is, very soon, and I would say right now, there's incentives that right now where we can reward people for coming up with designs, and that's what I'm trying to say. You know, all it's the case now. My theme of my conversation tonight's been about. It's just a case of getting it out the word out to people, because the more you get out to people, the more ideas you're going to get, the more creativity you're going to get, and then bang. And someone, this is the thing. I mean, we can have this conversation right now. If we had 15 of us, 20 of us in this conversation, the 20th person may have a great idea and go, "This is what you need. You need to do this. This is what I love about this conversation." See, in this course of this conversation, I didn't know about that idea about how cheap you could get a milk, you know, the price and stuff like that. This is why these conversations are needed, and that's what I was trying to say to Chris is that what I'm trying to say, Chris, from the other side, that the solution's already there. We're not talking utopian now. I'm not, and I can say that confidently because for the first time I go to my bank account and actually got money where I can get stuff built that's been done on the back of an idea, and that's, to me, is the real epoch moment. If that is where we are, and it's not just a dream anymore. This is actually reality. So that's my answer in a long-winded way back to you, Chris. Is that we can? It's only a case of now of like, okay, let's just get this done. Why wait? Let's just get this done, man. Let's not talk anymore.
Yeah. So, Chris, I got to ask you, are you any good with CAD? Because I suck.
I understand CAD, and I have used it a few times. I myself am not good with it, but I do know people who
suck
are.
At it.
They're unfortunately they're expensive.
Yeah.
But you know,
that's okay.
Sitting down and learning how to do it. My ex used to do a lot of it. She made all her own models in the Second Life and sold the models, the meshes, and the textures. She's kind of given up on computers, but you know, she knows how to. So she can figure it out in like 3 months of just trying to make a couple extra bucks. I'm sure
in this case, all you have to do is like make sure a Raspberry Pi can screw down into it. That's all we need, and it needs to be like, that's it. Like there's 4 screw holes. If they're in the right spot, we're good.
It sounds almost as if you're limiting yourself to the 3D printing when you got to.
No, I don't care.
You got to remember that the CNC machines are subtractive material. You take a block of wood and you make a box out of a block of wood. Single piece of wood. And
no. I don't care how anyone does it.
It's a lot easier.
I don't care how anyone does it, but I've done woodwork for the first half of my adolescent life. That's what I did for a living, was like custom finish woodwork and staining and routing and nice finish work. That's what I did. So I would love it if someone was like, hey, here's a wood one that's all stained and looks amazing, and that's your Novelist media box. No, I'd be stoked. I don't care what the medium is.
It'd have to be a steampunk, like wood interiors with the brass cogs on the outside, and the cogs would have to spin when it's generating money.
Draw it out, and I will fucking hand this goddamn session sweatshirt, a couple hats, a bunch of seeds, and dedicate a song to that motherfucker for the first person who draws that out, because that's what I want my Novelist media box to look like. Totally. You hit the nail on the head.
Like, I wouldn't even know the correct kind of program to use. Like, I would jump on, like, Wings 3D or something like that and try it. But even at that, I don't think there's a print to 3D printer. I don't know anybody with a 3D printer. I know people who know how to CAD, but they're completely different
there's actually
of people.
There's actually a
hobbyists.
website. There's actually several websites that are 3D printing communities that are all open source. And you basically can upload your design or download one you like, or click print and deliver, and that person who has the printer will just deliver it to you for cheaper than if you ordered it from a factory or
See, I didn't know they had a print and deliver option on those sites.
Yeah, well, you
That's
have to actually
kinda
contact
nice.
the individuals.
But,
Like it's a person to person thing. It's not
Yeah.
you're not going to a business. You're like, hey, you have a 3D printer. Hey, I have a design I like. It's open source. Print it out and send it to me, and I'll pay you. And it cuts out the middleman. It's some guy with a 3D printer with some guy who's doing some open source media box project, and that's all it should be. It shouldn't be companies and middlemen. It's about taking all the middlemen and saying, hey, guess what, guys? You don't get to take a piece of the pie anymore unless you're actually contributing. So go sit over there in the corner while we develop some cool shit. And that's the point of all of this. That's the point of that's the music that I'm doing right now. Is I'm taking the music industry and the record labels and the distributors and the promoters and all that, and you could crowdsource the promotion of the project. Say you have a promotional side of N99, right? And it's tied to your Twitter account. If it sees the hashtag on that person's Twitter account, it pays them a seed. It's like, hey, thanks for tweeting my song. Boom, it pays you automatically just because it's seeing that. And if someone wants to create a bot and try to game it, great. I just got a bunch of free promotion. Go for it. Bot the shit out of it. Bot the shit out of my music and game the fuck out of that system and make some cash, whatever. If you want to be a greedy fuck, do it. It creates a positive feedback loop instead of the negative feedback loop that is the music industry right now. And you can totally open source and make the peer-to-peer promotional experience. Like, the idea of a street team has now just been given steroids. Like, okay, you want a street team? Now, like, you directly own Brady's music directly and legally because you're part of his street team. Done. You know, and it's based on per action. Like, okay, so-and-so sold X amount of tickets and those people all actually showed up to the show. Boom. Cut them a fucking pile of seeds because N99 was where that was all registered, and you know, it's really endless on what could happen. I'm kind of shooting for the stars like I always do, but you have to, because like Tim said, just throw your ideas out there, and if you can come up with it, it's just a matter of doing it now. I mean, fuck it. Even if your ideas are retarded and crazy, throw them out there.
Mm-hmm. In fact, I would even go further. No, I'll one-up you there, Brady. The more retarded you feel they are, the more out there you feel they are, the more you should throw them out there.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Totally.
That's the point. You know, the whole essence of any experimentation and innovation is when we don't put any blockages on anybody, and that's what I'm trying to say. We've got to get to this point of like, this is one of the things I frustrates me most about the world we live in, is that some people's ideas, like you just said, like, oh, I can't contribute because my idea is not worth what? Who's putting the value on this stuff? You don't. Yeah. Some of the greatest ideas have come out of the words. Look, man, the old Bible one, the wisdom of the. You know, you got kids. I mean, how much of the wise words come out the mouth of babes, man, out the mouth of children. That's the point. Because
you want to hear the biggest one on that point you just made. Okay, my fiance just started this company where she does crocheting. She's like a crochet addict, okay? She's crocheting hats and sweaters and blankets and whatever, okay? Going crazy with it. And she was like, I need to come up with a business name. My daughter looks up at her and says, Mommy, you should name it a flower. And she's like, huh. So she started looking up flower names and boom, got her business name. And now it's Veratrum Design. Veratrum is a flower.
Perfect.
Boom, done. She got it from a child's wisdom.
Okay, dude. Well, on that one, I mean, what is there any way that anybody can buy, buy stuff off her? I mean, is there a website? Where can we find more about this?
She started her open bazaar store. She has an open bazaar store, but she doesn't have anything listed just yet. She's trying to get good photos of everything right now. She has like piles of crocheted items that just I just find her like every 10 minutes and there's just like a new pile of stuff she crocheted.
I know. I speak from somebody who's got exactly the the same situation, dude. And this is the point I've said from day one, is great. I mean, everyone thinks that N99 is all about the musicians and all the rap. No, this is about everybody, and this is my point.
Everybody.
My point is going to be when we know the paradigm has really shifted, is when, like you said, your better half, my better half, who sit there and crochet, they can sit there with no middlemen, put it out and exchange it for whatever they like. They want to exchange it for seeds, or they want to exchange it for Safecoin, Bitcoin, whatever, lemon coin, whatever you want to call your coin. That's going to be the paradigm shift. Is when, that's my point, when your average person who's sitting there and you're like you said, your better half, she hasn't got to go through have I got to set up a company, I've got to go and legalise it to the government, get the permission for this and this back. Once we get rid of all this, and that person, because do you know the thing is, as you know, Brady, this is the point, the most creative people in the world right now aren't rewarded, and they're sat in front rooms, like you just said. My missus is the same. She'd come out and she'd crochet a whole blanket, and you're like, whoa, and you get nothing for that. That's just a pleasure for her. And I think if we could just shift that around, where you could get, instead of going out and having to work 9 to 5, people could get paid for their hobbies or what they're creating. How much of a shift in the world, and that's why I think it's fascinating that you're exactly in that real life situation. That's the point, and that's why I say to your better half, if I could ever speak to her, saying again, to Chris, we're not dreaming anymore. We're building, and that's the point. There's going to be time very soon when your better half can be selling her crochet and swapping it for seeds.
I'm trying to get her on sessions.
That's where we are right now.
I'm trying to get her on sessions, and if I can, I'm gonna say, hold up those freaking blankets. I don't care if you don't have pictures just yet. Show the world what you're doing, because it kicks ass.
Well, dude, okay, let's do this here then, because my like I said, my better half, she's always the same thing, and I'm always saying the same thing to her. So maybe we should do this, because I said to her, you should just do like a sessions where you sit and, because I love watching it. I love watching the skill of the.
Yeah.
We've got this material that's been taken from an animal, weaved, and then with this weird sort of like bit of metal with a hook in it, and they can get this, these innate pictures and designs, and I think it's something, like I say, I'd love to sit and watch a session with 2 crocheters or 2 people into that. Just sitting there.
We need a crochet session.
Stuff,
let's do a crochet session.
We're starting.
Let's schedule it.
Yeah, doing it. Yeah, we put it in the universe
actually,
now, man. We put that in.
I'll tell you what. To inspire your better half and my better half, I'm gonna go get another beer, and I'm gonna go grab one of her designs, one of my favorites, and I'll be right back. You guys carry on.
I'm gonna do the same.
All right, Chris, I want you to dance while we're gone. Okay? Can you dance? Just for 30 minutes. Okay? 30 minutes. You just gotta.
I have to go grab a beer myself and pee. This is gonna be really hard.
All right. Keep it going. Wait. You got it. No,
I had
don't
to
leave.
Turn towards the camera.
All right. I want you to stare very creepily right into the freaking camera. Right? Give that creepy ass look. All right, ready? Do it. All right, Chris is gonna stare and entertain everyone with this creepy look and dance while I go get a beer. Oh, damn it! All right, I'll be right back. I liked it. I was turned on.
I'm sitting Indian style. My legs are numb, and doing this number is not helping anything.
I'll be right back.
Crossing my eyes. Go.
I'll be right
Get
back,
your beer.
guys.
Go. Grown-ups are talking. Yeah, we'll take a 5-minute timeout. Ooh, that's kind of loud. So these media boxes they're talking about, I don't know thing one from thing two to get that started, but I already have 10 ideas in my head on how to exterior, how to sugarcoat it. But I don't understand the getting one. Do I assemble it? Well, no, they explained that I don't, but how do I get one now? How do I have it ready? How do I click the on as soon as it's go time? How much is this going to cost me? Because I do have the perfect spot for it. I'll put it right there. Ah, but that's
Hey, what's going on?
Hey. I left for a beer myself. I got to turn him. He is loud. The media boxes to say I would like to buy a Sessions or a Brady name pending box now, so it would be set up. How would one go about doing that? Is there a link or is there a conceptual? It has to be built first.
Hold on, I can't hear you. It was cutting in and out there. What did you say?
The box majigger. If I were to say I want one, I'm in. I don't care where the money goes or the seeds go as well. But how would I get one on my counter or my desk thing over here?
Like ASAP?
Soon. Yeah. How would one go about doing that?
Because this is in development, I need help developing it and coming up with the best ideas, the best parts. So you should let me just come over to your house and we should sit down and think about hardware, designs, look at what the best parts are.
I am an excellent shopper. So
Let's do it.
Give me your requirements, not technical shit, but like it has to be, I need this part is minimum, this part is minimum, this part is minimum. What else does it need? I'm like, it needs this. I want this stuff.
Yeah.
And then you can go like, no, that's not reasonable.
It's going to be very custom, and I want like a larger version that like can fit like whole hard drives, and I want a smaller version that just has a Raspberry Pi and an SD card. Yeah. 2 versions. That's where my head's at.
You want the Paquito and the Jumbo. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, all right, guys.
Brady.
Yeah, go.
Man. There you go.
Hold on. Let me switch over. I can't see you.
That's one of her designs, right?
Hold it back up. Oh yeah, nice. That's sweet. Yeah, that's yeah. We need to have a crochet session to get both of them on. We have to.
A crochet session.
Absolutely. Here's my significant other's design. She's doing these animal hoods, like where it has the ears and everything here, and like It's got the like tassels and stuff. Like, yeah. Here, I'll put it on for you guys here. Just.
So she's doing like a crochet version of the spirit hoods.
Yep, exactly. And we got my daughter like modeling with these things, but I dig them. Like, we need to have a crochet session. You got blankets, we got these little cowls, we've got like there's creativity just sprouting. We got seeds sprouting. We need to.
Well, I have a robot. So just
I like the robot.
I didn't make it. I stole it from my brother 20 years ago.
Yep.
But that's the other thing. We got too much testosterone here. We need to get some estrogen in here into sessions. That's the other thing.
Gives me a great idea.
Yeah, you got great ideas for estrogen.
Well, I always do. But a local musician and well, not crochet, although she probably does at some point. But Delaney Davis.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think
that's a big thing. I think the local musician thing, we've got a lot of pretty good, talented people around here, and I've reached out to a few of them, but it's always about the timing of getting them on sessions at the time we're actually doing it. I think that's partly I need to be more consistent and do stuff on all mediums. I need to be on Periscope. I need to do our normal sessions that we are already doing. We need to be on the Facebook live streaming and just everywhere. I need to be more consistent and sporadic and random. Like I think I'm gonna try and I'm not comfortable doing this yet, but I'm gonna force myself to do it. and I'm going to take my phone into town on like open mic night, and I'm just going to walk around and start BSing with musicians while I'm live streaming on Periscope. Like, I'm nervous and I have anxiety, but I'm literally just going to just pound a beer down, throw the anxiety back into the background, and just run out there and do it. And hope I don't have a panic attack.
You know, it'd be really funny is if the both of us went out with both of our anxiety and like had to calm each other down.
No, it might. You know, that might be a good idea.
Start our own internet show. I'll record it like and put it on YouTube. The results thereof.
Yeah, right. Most people wouldn't know this, but like, I get on stage and I play in front of like hundreds of people, and people are like, "How do you get on stage and you don't have any stage fright?" And I'm like, because it's one big beast. Like, that crowd is one giant person that is just kind of not really a person. And I'm like, we're good. But then you get me in a room with like 5 people, and I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna have a panic attack. Oh God. I'm like. And people are like, I don't get that. You can't sit with 5 people, but you can sit with 300 on a stage playing music? That doesn't make any sense. I'm like, yeah, I know. I can do public speaking. I can play on stage doing music. I can get on sessions. But as soon as you get me in a room at a party, I'm like the guy up in the corner of the room going, oh, God, I don't want to be here. I don't know what that is. Oh, well. I'm really good at being on stage, though, so that makes up for it.
Dude, you know what I'm saying? And you know, I've done 137 of these podcasts. I've spoken to many musicians, creative people in my long time on this planet. And what you just said, and someone who used to be in a band myself, man, it's exactly the same. I've never met any person yet who doesn't get up on a stage who has exactly what you just said. And they almost say, I've even spoken to people who have played 80,000 crowds, have been support bands, and they said they found that much easier than playing. Like you say, a barbecue for a few friends. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's common, man.
You know what I think it is a lot of musicians are very sensitive to that human-to-human connection. Mm-hmm. And I think when you have a few people that you can really like sense and feel, and you see their reactions, and you really have that direct like emotional feedback from them, it's very intense as an individual person. But when you have a giant crowd that's just screaming, that just kind of is this background noise that fades away, and you're like, oh, cool, I can focus.
Yeah, it goes back down to that whole thing, man. I think it's the same thing. It's especially when, and I think it's the hardest thing is when you know the people you're gonna. I mean, I used to, when I was playing gigs, like I used to worst gigs when you know playing a smallest venue and you've got like 3 people you know in the front audience. It's like because you know them, and they know. Yeah. That's the thing, because the whole thing of, and do you know what I think this breaks down to? And I think I've really kind of like thought about it and contemplated this over the years. I think the thing is, when you get up on stage, it's what I was trying to say earlier on, you have to give a performance. Of course you do. People can't. They're coming out to see something, aren't they? You know. Yeah. And obviously, so when you do that, you bring out parts, especially as a musician, you bring out parts of yourself that you wouldn't normally display. So when you see people who know you, and they know you, and they've been, they've had, a night when you've been absolutely out of your head and you're sleeping on the floor with your socks like you're hanging out your trousers and stuff. They know that person, and you find it really hard to that person, because ultimately real musicians don't like to fake. Yeah. So all they're doing when they get up on stage is they're just heightening part of their experience. But they know, with the person they know who knows them at the front, they think, he's faking it. So you try to. That's why it's the most. That's why I think it is, because it's all part of that showbiz thing, man. When you get into other people, it's easy to be one thing. When you like to say, it's because you know. It's the same thing as, I tell you what it is, my man. It's like. Most people, I've seen amount of people I used to know in life who go to work and they say, oh, I do this and I do that, and then the minute the missus turns up, it's like, oh, they shout then, don't they? You know what I mean? She's like, exactly, man.
Yeah, no, it's the exact
life,
same
man.
thing. That's perfect. That's a perfect way to put it. That's exactly what happens. Yeah, totally. I think it's going to be neat because of the way the world's headed now. Like, think about sessions. This is a very open, collaborative environment, and everyone sees me, for lack of a better term, with my pants down when I'm messing up and singing the wrong words. I totally forget. Like, people see all that right here. So I think that almost like opens a musician up more, which is something I think people need to do more as an artist. They really need to feel comfortable with their own insecurities and their own quirks and problems, and just throw it out there. You know, this is me. This is how I am. Yeah, I'm kind of nervous. I have anxiety. That's the way it is. To be honest, my guitar is my human shield. Like, or not my human shield. It's like, it's my shield. I'm like, oh God, I'm nervous. Here, okay, I feel better now. Deal with that. Here, look, guys. Here's some really good music. Focus on this instead of how nervous I am.
But dude, you know that this is the very thing, because I think that the very essence of what you're just talking about then is to me the paradigm shift we're going to go through. It's because everything now is always focused on the individual. But oh look, they're pretty, or that they're like an Amy Winehouse, and they look at, and it's all about what they do. And like you say, and it shouldn't never be. It should always be about what. I don't care what B.B. King was up to in his lifestyle. I like his tunes. I don't care what, you know, I like their music, or I like their art. I don't care what, this is the whole thing, I don't care what Van Gogh did in his life. I loved his artwork. And we got to get into that whole point where we should, this is what I've always said, if we should just separate the person from the creativity. Because what I do at the end of it is that, we've been led down this path because, as you just said, we will become anxious because everyone's like, well, this is what you have to be. And there's almost these little boxes. So like, if you're a musician, you have to be in this little box here. If you're an artist, you have to be in this box here.
It's a pedestal that shouldn't exist.
And it's ridiculous because, as you know, man, I've met them all, and I always said this, one of the greatest inspirations of my life was Bill Hicks. When I spoke to Bill Hicks, he had exactly the same word for word what you were saying. Had all the anxiety and all that, and he said, because people think I've always got to be funny. I'm not funny, man. You know, I mean, I get up on stage. It's a stick. You know, and I say my piece. I'm truthful, but hey, you know, I'm not a performing seal. I don't just, you chuck me a fish and I'll do, you know, I'll do a joke for you. Yeah. And this is what we've got to get away from, because do you know the scary thing about that is all this pedestal stuff, as you quite rightly, eruditely just said. The trouble with that is that then whatever that pedestal, Amy Winehouse is a perfect example. So you get put on a pedestal where you're drunk and so then what happens? She dies before she's 30. You get people that do that, and then we don't need pedestals, man. We're all human beings. We're all fallible. We all have the same. This is the difference thing we're really going to get to, is we're all just the same. We all have the same fears, the same complexes, the same struggles, because we're all this rock that's just fucking in space, and that's the truth of it all. And this is where like I'm trying to say, well, we've got to break down the middlemen and break down the pedestals, because this is what I get upsets me, because you see human lives wasted because they do get on these pedestals, and at the end of the day there's no more life left, and you know we have to joke about it.
Sucks the
life
out
is,
of
and it's
them.
wrong. And it's like you said, all you want to do...
It's disgusting is what it is. It's a waste of human life, like you said. Like, it's worse than that guy sticking his head in the sand, because it's like, it's the opposite end of the spectrum. There's no medium, there's no middle ground. It's like all or nothing. You know, stick your head in the sand or stand up on that pedestal until you die. And it's not like, we're human, we're all right here at the same level. This whole... I think people get mad at me because I've actually gotten... I've sat around friends who are like, oh, we should go to this party because I heard like so-and-so who's famous is going to be there. I'm like, oh, okay, great, wonderful. And they're like all starstruck and like, oh my God, so-and-so is going to be at the party. And we've got, it's amazing. And they're like, they can't even speak. They're so nervous. And I'm just sitting here like, oh, hey man, how are you doing? And like the artist or actor like actually gets mad because I'm not starstruck. And I'm like, dude, for one, I actually know for a fact that you know less chords on the guitar than I do. Why should I be starstruck over that? Kiss my ass. And then, but then I'm the asshole at the party that they don't want to talk to. And I'm like, man, this pedestal shit has to stop. We're all here. We're all even. Like, there's not this game. The star mentality, putting someone up on a pedestal and like, it's Jim Carrey, it's Amy Winehouse, it's so-and-so, it's whatever, all these names, like, the names don't matter. For one, a lot of those people, that isn't even their real name. They're just given this catchy name so the pedestal looks even more shiny than it really is. And that
not that there's anything wrong with fake names.
No, not at all, Patches. Mr. Patches up on a pedestal. Oh.
Just making sure that's clear.
No, fake names, aliases, I'm a big fan of, but not if it's to drain someone's soul. If it's a soul-draining name change, fuck you. If it's because you have anxiety, all the power to you, because I have anxiety too. I don't know. There's my rant. For the...
Dude, Emperor's New Clothes, my friend. And you know, the worst people at the Emperor's New Clothes whole scam, as I call it, it is a scam, are actors. And I always say to actors, I mean, I went to uni, and I was basically, because I was doing creative writing, so I was surrounded by actors and lovers all the time. And they all thought they were God's gift to mankind. And I was, my point to them all was, it's the same life. You're getting paid, and I'm gonna put you on a pedestal because you can put some clothes on, dress up, and pretend. I got over that when I was 5.
Yeah,
I got over that when I was 5, and that's the point. And that's my point. Great, if we're going to put people on pedestals, which is maybe a trait of humanity, maybe that's part of that mad mix of species, genes and that makes us human. We love to put things on. Why aren't we putting people like the David Irwins and the innovators? Them or the kid? They should be on the pedestals, not some vacuous, shiny being who doesn't got any talent. And this is why I really think the paradigm's going to shift, because it's got to be about what you create, not what you are. Because
not even what you create.
I don't care what you are.
Not even what you create. I'm sick of the pedestal mentality saying this person created this, when 9 times out of 10 most pop songs and famous music is literally stolen from an extremely talented person who got absolutely nothing from that song being put up on that pedestal with that fake ass person who wears a shiny face and has white teeth. Okay. Frack that person with white shiny teeth. Frack that person with the fancy clothes and the nice jewelry. Fork them. No, straight up fork them. Take their music, open source it, and fork it. Fork them. I could say fuck them, but I actually meant fork them. There's my rant again. Well, I'm sorry. I think everyone knows how I feel about intellectual property.
Forks can be good weapons.
Absolutely.
Village folk use them all the time.
Metaphorically, systematically, and in code, and literally. I'm gonna fork you. Oh, sorry.
Like an animal?
Like an animal. Like an animal.
Forked for the very first time.
For the very first time. Okay, whatever.
I just wanted to fork a lot of real lyrics up there. It was really fun.
Fork my lyrics. I don't care. Fork you.
I don't think we have time for that.
It's not YouTube friendly. They'll just shut Tim's channel down.
I'll host it on mine. It'll be okay. I'll get a viewer.
So yeah, like I said, I don't have a whole lot of music for everyone today. But Sessions hasn't been drawing in the type of other musicians that I was hoping. Like everything always goes slower than you expect it to when you're all excited about a new project. So I'm like, it's still kind of the me show, and I don't want it to be. I want Sessions to become this very generic thing that isn't like, oh, Sessions is Brady's music. That's not the point of Sessions. Point of Sessions is to make people feel comfortable with open sourcing things, collaborating with people, and allowing others to just take the ball and run. Not, I mean, Sessions. That's the essence of Sessions. It's not a me show. It's an us thing, and that's why I'm gonna do this crowdfund. And I think if I do the crowdfund with these novelist media boxes like I want to do, I'll be able to get that point across a little better, and really hit it home and say, look, okay, now that I have something to work with, here, I'm going to pay this musician to come on to sessions. I'm going to pay this guy to like do their thing. And then once they really get the idea, oh, he wasn't trying to like pay for me to be on his music. He was paying me to get a point and understand open source mentalities. And then they can go off and do that. And I hate the fact that I am literally having to pay people to come on to this. Like, it's so frustrating, but you almost have to do that and play on people's greed to pull them into a new mentality and say, oh, hook, line, and sinker. Guess what? I just dropped a new ideology on your brain, and now you can just deal with that. I don't know. Is that evil? Is that Machiavellian? That'd be if it was for personal gain. I think that would be, if it was for personal gain, yes, I'm actually doing it to benefit the other person, so I don't think that's Machiavellian by definition. So, like I said, I did lose a whole lot of that music, though, from Seeds Sown. And the actual goal was to have Seeds Sown finished for your crowd sale, Tim. And then I was going to, like, publish Seeds Sown right in the middle of the freaking crowd sale. And I lost the freaking tracks. I was, like, so pissed. So last night, I just burned through it and re-sang all the lyrics, reproduced the whole thing, and now that the seeds are actually sown, maybe it'll mean a little more, because I also thought about it, and I didn't want to like make it seem like this shallow, like, oh look, Brady's putting out a song just to pump the Seeds crowd sale, and I almost thought maybe it would be better to do it afterwards and show people what they missed out on rather than pumping the sale, because I looked at your distribution list and I was like, okay, that looks like a nice even distribution of people I probably personally know, care about, are friends, and there's a lot less bullshit with that type of distribution. So if you pump things, you just get a bunch of assholes involved. So instead, I'm going to publish Seeds Sown after the fact and show people, look, this is what it's all about, this is what you've missed, and you should probably get involved now, because this is going to be epic. This is going to be exactly what I've wanted in music for a long ass time. And enjoy open collaboration and what it really means to be a fucking human. I mean, excuse my language again, but maybe this song will kind of soften up my words a little bit. Just tell my daughter, don't listen to sessions, please. Daddy says bad words. Words can be so powerful, especially if your daughter hears you say a bad one on sessions.
I like the comedy version better already.
There's got to be a comedy version of everything. That's sessions, is that behind the scenes, like backstage access when the musician is drinking too many beers and saying crude stuff and not thinking his family is listening and everyone else. This is a live broadcast, Brady. You shouldn't have said what you just said. And I'm like, you know what?
It wasn't racist. It's fine.
Go fork yourself. that's what the other part of the song is all about too. When I say, take it with a grain of salt, take it with a grain of salt. I didn't mean to say those bad words.
But you can still fork yourself.
But you can still fork yourself. And I don't care what you think about me.
Or intellectual property.
Or intellectual property. You know, fork this song. Fork you. Oh, by the way, it is embedded on a blockchain, so if you do fork it, you better give me credit because it is on the Collaborative Commons license, which requires you legally to actually give me credit, which also gives everyone who is involved in every session credit, who also legally has equity because that's legal in the United States now, and now we're all going to sue you. Oh,
Ramble's too long. Back to the music.
Fork you and your mom. Oh. What do you say about my mom? Nothing. Nothing. I didn't say anything.
Okay, we're gonna have to script your improv.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm on sessions, because I'm terrible at improv. I don't know what I'm doing. I never can make any decisions. Choices are probably one of my rough points, but what are you gonna do? That's the secret. I'm actually a terrible songwriter, and that's why I'm open sourcing it. Yeah, exactly. No, that's the secret. I'm actually a terrible songwriter, and that's why I'm open sourcing my music. Not because I'm revolutionary. I just suck at writing. I'll just let the crowd mentality take it and run.
So I actually am contacting another friend who's, I believe his political, philosophical, and all other views that are haveable are counter to yours.
Yeah.
And so I want to try to, because he's also a musician. Just like, hey, if I can get just the clash going on, just to pull him on in, of course.
Yeah, totally.
He just got married 2 months ago, so he might still be in honeymoon phase and preoccupied.
I'll be honest. I've talked to a lot of people with the counter argument to what I'm talking about, and they're like, "Yeah, well, you're just gonna go broke your whole life and never get any recognition for your music and never do anything." And I hear that argument. I really understand it. I do, but at the same time, I'm not ready to take my music to the professional level that other people are willing and choose to do so. And if that's your thing and you want to run your music like a business, and it's no longer a passion, it's a business, it's not like your hobby and passion, that is a personal decision you have to make. And yes, the option is there to not open source it and maintain your options. But that's the other thing about the music industry. It's not in a position where you can make that option anymore. It's either you do it for a business and profit, or stop wasting your fucking time. And I don't think it should be that way. I think there should still be some type of benefit to doing it as a hobby and doing it for fun and open sourcing it.
The thing is, even if you guys do have horrible clashes, he's also a nerd. He's a different kind of different nerd, but he works in marketing.
Yeah.
So even if he doesn't like the idea, if he could see how it could benefit the world, even if it's counter to his particular field, he might be able to help push it forward and get it out there, because he knows a lot. He lives in L.A., so he's got the bands all around him. But
it should be counter to what I'm talking about, though. I mean, it really should.
He needs to devil's advocate.
Yeah, exactly. But he needs to play devil's advocate for me too, which is what causes the debate and the conversation, and allows what I'm trying to do to really develop. Because what I'm trying to do, people are almost afraid to open source their music, open source their software.
Because they immediately think I put in all the work and then everybody else takes it. And you have to explain to them that's not what open source is. That's idiot source. Exactly. That's saying, hey, you're just going to leave all of it out there already pre-done and say it's free? Whoa, okay. No, you have to get people to work with. But after we go off of live, I want to get your help in drafting a letter to like Delaney and to this guy, the introduction, like, hey, we want to invite you to sessions, and here's what it is before, we're not just like, hey, come here and talk to us. We want to like, here's the basics of what's going on with this and why we're inviting you and why we think you would be a good addition.
Let me ask you.
Schedule.
Let me ask you then, because projects like this, you don't have a clear like end result of what you're wanting. You just know you want something different and you want to try something new. What's your impression of sessions? What was your barrier to wanting to participate at first, and what changed your mind? If at all. If it changed your mind. I don't know if it changed your mind, but you're still here. You're still here.
There are reasons beyond sessions that makes me come here. Like, first and foremost, like, I don't like drinking alone. And so this is my monthly. I get to see people and talk to people and not be alone while I'm drinking.
Cheers.
Mine's empty. You have to go get a new one.
It's all right. You can cheers me with the koozie. Clink. Okay.
But my impression, it was first and foremost, we're going to talk about cryptocurrency. Like, that was like, because it's Brady. I'm going to go talk to Brady about cryptocurrency, and I'm going to be the idiot that they have to entertain and explain it to, and I will be the example to the rest of the world as to what they're talking about. I will be like the idiot's advocate.
I'm obsessed for the most part, in that field, and I'm sorry if that is a good chunk of it.
For the most part, I am the idiot's advocate to cryptocurrency. And even though I sit there and I try to fucking learn this shit, it's like, what if I just peer-to-peer it? Like, no, scam. Okay, well, what if I peer-to-peer it? That's what you just asked, and same answer. Well, what if I make a pretty box for your pretty machine? Okay. But then music comes in and it's like, I don't know how it's less than half at this point of the total communications, because you in your field, and then some of the other people you've invited, they're all about the cryptocurrency. So like, you guys get started on that topic, and it's like, I'm gonna sit here and draw. I'm gonna draw my own media box.
No, and that's frustrating, because the problem is I see the potential of this technology changing drastically how intellectual property works and it functions on a fundamental level. So it's exciting, and I'm a little obsessed because I work for Coinbase, so I'm like in the field. I'm a direct advocate of the technology, and I'm a little obsessed and have been for a while. So it's hard to pull back.
And the minor thing there is, if this comes up, it's a good thing to like, hey, let's educate you and get you into this. Mm-hmm. But is it an important topic? Yes. So do you want to get rid of it? No, because it's important. But at the same time, it's not what sessions is. But it is.
Yeah.
But it is.
And so, I need to pull myself back. And like, if I ever go too far, you're welcome to say, "Hey, Brady, how play a song."
there's so little area you can deflate on it, because like, it's important stuff, and I want to know it. But how many viewers are going to be watching all like, oh, cryptocurrency crap again? How do I? But then you get back into the music, and then we have this conversation about what it is and what it isn't, and then back into the cryptocurrency, and they're like, oh, he's getting interesting now. It's no longer interesting.
Yeah.
But it's some people are like, well, I wish they would stop playing fucking music. I want to hear more of the cryptocurrency from like an insider and an idiot's view, because I'm halfway between. It's like it's helpful in all of the range. So have you seen
the musicians who are actually into this technology and what they're doing?
No.
I've noticed they actually talk a little less about it, and I envy them, because they're obsessed and they're into it like I am, but they have the capability of like really pulling back and taking it from a totally different angle, and I envy that, and I'm trying to emulate that personally.
I think that is a social skill that neither you or I have, because we both have the anxiety when you're trained to talk and you have this conversation with this person, have this conversation with this person, and you have to separate them. Words. You and I, like, I'm going to talk to you for the next 8 hours straight, because you're the only fucking person here that understands me, and we're going to talk about everything. We're just there, oh, and by the way, I said him.
For reference, there's two the most prominent musicians I've seen that have had that like aha moment about this technology and wanted to apply it to their music is Shooter Jennings, Waylon Jennings' son, one of his sons. I like his new album a lot too. It's very different. He did a David Bowie cover. It was interesting. I like the direction he took. It was so Shooter, check out his new album. I bought it because it's really good. Shooter, if you're listening, go send me the other album because your promotional team didn't send me the second one. I ordered 2. I did. They didn't send me the second one, but it's really good. Go buy it if they'll send it to you. The other person is Imogen Heap, and she is getting more into the Ethereum smart contract side of things, which is really interesting. It's not just digital nerd money currency stuff. It's actually like, we have a smart contract that will automatically divide royalties up between everyone who participated in this project. And she's really taking it on a higher level approach and doesn't really care about the money aspect of it, rather than, she's looking at it from this perspective. I'm like, I've got 6 people that participated on this album, and I'm trying to like cut them checks every time I get royalties. Like, so she's like, cool, I can automate this with a smart contract. Great, let's fucking do it. So she had that aha moment for that because it makes her life easier. Yeah. Shooter Jennings is just obsessed with cryptocurrency and what it means for like really giving the average person freedom of their own money, control of their own money, and allowing micro societies to develop. And he's getting into it in more of a philosophical aspect. So it's cool seeing the contrast of views there. But those are the 2 other people I've noticed, and it's interesting watching them develop those ideas and understand it and dig in, because they got in a little later, so they're having those progressive aha moments about what it really means. And it's neat to watch someone who's into music have that moment, because I can watch and be like, oh, that's how I should learn to shut up at that moment and and stop talking about cryptocurrency. And it's frustrating. It's hard for me because I did get obsessed with the technology for a long time. My family's sick of hearing it.
Life is people, Brady. Life is people. Always remember, man. Life is people. And do you know the one about? I don't know if you're sort of talking about, Shooter Jennings, and I heard you talk about Imogen Heap, which I just walked back in. Dude, there's so many musicians right now that aren't on the big radar map, but dude, they're all on it. I mean, I don't really go out to talk about this a lot because my philosophy. I like to, promise a little, deliver big. But man, I can sort of start saying this now. I've got a number of bands that have got exclusive albums waiting to come out on N99, exclusive, and that is what I'm saying. These don't make the headlines on BitTalk cryptocurrency worlds, and they don't make the talks in music magazines and stuff like this. But like all scenes, and we're all old enough to remember that, any scene that really makes a difference comes from the bottom up, and it's kind of like the last great example of this was grunge. Beginning of that year, to walk around with a ski hat, you were laughed at. By the end of the year, every trendy model, hippie dude was all walking around it and making out they were grunge. And it came from the very bottom. It's the same thing with this right now. There's bands right now the world don't know. In a year's time, everybody's going to walk around with their T-shirt because they're going to be the new vanguard of this new world. So it's not just. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm amazed that there's nobody over here, nobody in Europe I know that's doing anything. Imogen Heap maybe, but hers I always feel was a bit kind of like, well, I've tried. She's a perfect example. We tried to reach out to her. Daniel spoke to her. Went to a conference down in San Francisco. Nothing. And this is the thing that frustrates me about this world. It's like, great, you go out there and you're making all these headlines in your little community about you doing it. But like you said, Brady, it's the same thing we keep saying over and over again. This is going to be nothing unless it's real people talking about this stuff. Because this is why I call my thing, Life is People. I don't want to talk about technology and stuff like that. To me, it's all about real people. And this is what I'm trying to say. It's this conversation, having it around like we would do around a campfire. And that's what's important. And if these people, and this is what frustrates me. I like the campfire
analogy.
Yeah, and this is what I'm trying to say, man. Like, you shoot at Jens and that. The great thing is what they're doing is great, but it means nothing if they're not going to reach out to other musicians. And this is what they need to be reaching out to people like me and you. We all need to be connecting, because if we don't do that, it's pointless. It will just become little geeks in corners talking about our clever little toys. And it'd be like in the 60s when they're going, oh, we've got electric guitar, but we're not going to share it with anybody. No, you want to go out and share that. That's what. That's the difference.
Tim, I think that's one of the reasons why I was really trying to focus on the local music aspect in your area, in my area, anyone else who comes onto sessions. They need to stop and think when they come onto sessions, who are the musicians I know, who I live near, who I could bring on and make them a part of this. And I'm trying to show people the value for those people so they can think, oh, this is something I need to go, like, my neighbor's a musician and he's really good and he doesn't know about this. And, you know, Shooter and Imogen, I mean, that's great that more, like, prominent names are out there because it kind of, like, pushes it into the worldview, but it's not what it's about, is what I like that you're trying to really hit that home, because the fact that it is about people, it's about connecting, it's about talking, it's about having that conversation, and it's not really about that pedestal. And while, you know, I like that there's more prominent people talking about it and like famous actors and musicians and everything, because it does help. But I think what I see, every time I see that, I see this separation between that pedestal and those people standing on the pedestal and everyone else looking up at them. I see it, that gap closing slowly. And that's what I'm excited about, is that gap. Once we're all standing here level and that pedestal isn't there anymore, and it's like, oh, hey, you know that pedestal you stood on? That pedestal was, like, you know, built on corruption, crime, and illegitimate crap and theft. So here's what we're building, which is actually built on collaboration, helping each other, and saying, hey, I like your project. If you help me with my project, I will help you with yours full force. And that's really what it's all about. I mean, that's what we're doing right now. I'm helping you with your project. You're helping me with my project. I'm trying to promote Chris's stuff. I've got friends who are writers, artists, graphic designers, family who likes to just draw. And I'm like, put your stuff up on the session's mural. Like, it's about collaborating and making it one big freaking beast so we can close that gap.
Dude, it's what I was saying to you earlier on, my man, and this is what we realise. If you want to really break down life into, if you want to get philosophical, which I love doing, I love going down these routes, because I think it breaks down to two basic camps. There's those who want to control, and they will never stop until they get ultimate more and more control. There's that part of human species, and then there's us. And we have got to learn.
I don't think they're
human.
human.
I don't think this is going to happen naturally.
I don't think those
well, no,
are
what
human.
I'm trying to say is but what I'm trying to say is that the problem has always been that us, because we're all on the other side, we don't want to control people because of that innate freedom and stuff like that. Like you said before, it goes right back to isms. We all get caught in isms. We all get caught in these little boxes, and then we're all generally wanting the same thing. None of us. It's Chris over there, you over here, me over here. None of us want to put a bullet in anybody. None of us want us to harm anybody. And the trouble is, if we don't, we've all got to congregate around that idea and go, look, it doesn't matter. We've got, like you say, take the pedestals away and go, look, hey, look, just because I can paint, but then the thing is, you know about it, anybody can, what the real break in the paradigm is when everyone realizes, you know what, it's all just skills. There's no inherent talent. Like you said earlier on, Brady, man, every musician, they go, oh, well, you haven't invented a new chord. Every chord's been written. Every painting stroke's been painted. Every word has been written.
It's like, I'm glad you took the time to learn that. I'm glad you took the time to learn that, but you didn't invent it. There are people who did invent it, but you aren't them.
And the best way, and that's what I'm saying, I basically, the desire I have, I want a world where basically, where everybody, instead of, which is what I'm saying, when you really break it down to, and this is what you really break it down to in life, this conversation to some people will be like, oh no, life is all about killing people, getting as much as you can, and let's be real shit, man, that's real. We're not joking, this is real. And the difference, and then we're having this conversation, and the point is that us on this side, because we're having this conversation, it's inevitable that if we just free ourselves and, like you say, and take ourselves out of the ego moment about, oh, look at me, I'm this great artist, or I'm this great musician, or I'm this and I'm that, and all the rest of it, and we just go and meet each other as people. Dude, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's not, to me, that's what makes me not negative about this world, because if we can just correlate and free ourselves from all this ego shit, which is what
we
it all
don't have
is.
time.
And
we don't have time to speak from the ego. We don't have any time to speak from the ego.
No.
At all.
No, and And that's what I'm trying to say, man. And when it really breaks down to, and this is when it gets down to that point, the people that are on the other side, those who want control, those who want to, tighten everything over and over and again. The last thing they want in the world is music. They don't want any art. They don't want any films. They don't want us. Their world, we're redundant, and we've got to wake up to this, man. It's not some sort of passive battle going on. This is real shit going on, man, between those who want to put bullets in human beings and us. Yeah. And we've got to. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's not just about. I mean, I know that we talk about technological solutions and stuff like that, but it's not. It's about, ultimately, this is all about getting people together and having real conversations where people like anyone can talk, whether it's me, whether it's Chris over there, I love to hear, we all need to get involved, because like, as I said before, we don't know that out of anybody's mouth might come the genius moment, and that's why we can't shut anybody up. We've got to allow everybody the opportunity to, like you say, this common wealth of human knowledge has got to be opened up.
Hey, Tim, do you have any kind of an audio interface? Like a USB, like for recording like music, like recording your piano.
Yeah, got why?
Do you have anything to record your piano in high quality?
No, but I need to do this, and this is one of the things I need to do. Yeah, you're right. I need to go out and get myself a mic. Why are you asking?
Because I'm gonna send you this. Because you have supported me more than most people I have ever met in my entire life. This is yours for the support you've given me, and I freaking thank you, because this is a nice little music box. This is the M Audio Fast Track C600, and you'll love it. But you have to promise me, if I send it to you, you have to record your piano. That's the only condition.
Man, that's the least I'll do, man. That's the least I'll do, man. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much.
If I send this to you, you have to promise I get piano from you, though. If you don't give me piano when I send this to you, I'm going to come visit you, and I'm going to poke you in the eye.
No. You drag me along, and we force him to pay for our distillery pub crawl.
Yeah, there you go. Pub crawls.
Dude, I'm very aware. You got to remember, I'm in Scotland, man, and with your surname, all you got to do is just call the clan. Just call the clan up, man. I've got no chance, dude. Do you know what I mean? The McKennas are after me, man. That's old school shit.
The McKennas and the Peebles.
Yeah, the Peebles and the McKennas are coming. They're coming for you, and you better watch out, because, we'll drink you under the table any day in a dirty glass.
Because we're from the high altitudes, the Highlands, the American Highlands.
This is my gift to you, though. It's coming in the mail, and it's why I asked for your address the other day, because I don't really use it. I'm using this other pedal board, and I want you to have it because I want to actually do a session with you where you can actually record for me. So please give me some piano if I send this to you.
No, man, it'd be my privilege and my honor, man.
Okay, cool. That'll come in the mail for you then. It should power by USB. I'll throw a USB cable in the mailbox with it, and you should be able to just plug it into your laptop, install the drivers, and go.
Cool.
I think... Hello? Oh, whoa. All that sound went away.
Amazing. Yeah, exactly. Amazing when Chris turns his thing off, it's just like the world just silence out.
I thought we got cut. I thought it totally cut out. I was like, oh my god, Sessions has been destroyed. What kind of piano do you have there? I saw you playing it that one time. What are you playing there?
Right, well, the piano I've got there is a Belfont, and it was basically just because I'll give you a bit of background. I mean, where I am in Scotland, and people may be aware, maybe not aware of this, but there's a lot of. It was a very religious country, Scotland, either Catholic or Protestant, and that's the whole thing about this country. But now because of those times, and you've got to bear in mind there's a lot of this communal stuff that went around that. So basically, what I'm trying to say, long story short, most charity shops now you can't but fall over pianos, because all the schools, all the churches now are not there, so all the old church equipment. So this was just, I think its history's probably been a church piano, because when I first got it, that's what I love about it. You can tell it's been played, and I mean, I've had someone come around to me and say, "Oh, you need to tune it." I'm like, "No, it's perfect. I don't need to tune it. I love it. You know what I mean?" And so it's just got that history, and that's the history of it, and it's the first. I've always wanted, Brady. I've always wanted a piano. I'll give you when I was a kid, I grew up in a religious sort of background. My old man was a preacher, and I was never allowed to touch the piano, and I always wanted to. And then you get to the position like most people, like, how many times can you ever get a piano? Because I've lived in apartments, or I've been around the world. It was the first time, and it was the first thing when I got into this house, I went, right, no, I'm going to get a piano. I've got a nice room, go down and get it. So yeah, that's the kind of history of my piano, man. But
that's a good feeling.
I play it every day.
I have a plastic keyboard.
My piano is what you were saying is like your guitar, dude. I mean, I just lose myself in it, and I was a guitarist. I was a bass player, and I loved to play guitar. And then to me, piano is just, I don't know. There's something about the keyboard, especially an old piano like this. It's just, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, and I don't want to get sort of metaphysical in it, but it has a soul to it. You can hear the ages, you can hear the. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to sort of sound too sort of romantic and like a poet, but
no. I think that character of an instrument is just, it's amazing to really hear, and when you feel that and you're listening to it, it's just every instrument has a different feel. And some of the newer instruments, I have a hard time playing new instruments. I hate it. Like I don't hate it. Mm-hmm. Okay, a new instrument, it's nice to play, but those old instruments, they have soul, they have feeling, they've developed their sound. And like this guitar right here, if you sat here with me and listened to this thing is from 1981, so it's a few years older than me. And a guitar that's a few years older than me develops its own sound, and it's a sound that you cannot mimic. No matter how hard you try to make a new instrument sound like it, it's not going to happen.
Completely.
This thing has been at high elevations, low elevations, sea level. It's gotten it's been through the ringer. It's been touring with me. It's played in a number of different bands and gigs and bars. It's had blood on it. It's had beer on it. It's had you name it. That's happened to this, and it still sounds better than before all that happened. And that's when you know you have a good instrument, and it develops its own sound and characteristics. And I have a hard time playing any other instrument. That's an Alvarez Yari. And you want to talk about crowdfunding? All the instruments I have and all the music equipment I have was given to me by either friends or family, and it's so sentimental. That is true crowdfunding. That's like your family going, wow, you're really good at music, have this instrument because I don't play it, and you make it sound amazing, and it makes it this amazing experience for you. You're like, wow, you're gonna give me your instrument that you've had for years, and then you just have to play it. It's not like you want to play it. You're like, I have to play it for you now. And
Barry, can I just say on that, and I think it's really important to say this, you know what I mean, that as much as we talk about technology, what that very story you just said, then I could echo what you just said. My guitar's the same thing, and this is what I think really is what I think really needs to be sort of pushed out into the universe and be told. Look at what we've just done. I was the same. I carried my guitar, and it was only a cheap one I picked up in Argentina years ago, and I carried it all around the world. Now, why does I do that? Why? Because that's the point. It is that thing about that's what to me is the essence of being human. You would carry a piece of wood around just so at the end of the night you can play a little tune. That to me is what is the essence of what Sessions is about, what Life is People is about, what we're all about in this whole thing about is exactly that point. That we do carry that piece of wood around with us for that very moment, man. Whereas people,
Absolutely.
I mean, if people going about, oh my Jimmy Choo shoes, or look at me, I've got the you wouldn't carry that stuff around in a backpack with you, but I've carried that through airports because it means something, and that's what I'm saying. Music, arts, creativity goes beyond all the material stuff that we've got. It's just material. What we're talking about, even with what we're trying to say when we have our conversation about technology, it's just trying to say to people, look, Man, we're getting to the point where you can free yourself from all these bondage of this material bollocks and just get down to what's important. Because at the end of the day, what's important is you sat around a campfire, you want a musician, you want to have a good time, and you want to talk about real stuff. And that is real stuff.
It does make me wonder.
You strip life down to.
It does make me wonder, though, like when the guitar and the lute and pianos were first invented, how many people thought it was just this ridiculous, crazy technology and invention, and everyone was like, that's stupid. What are you doing with those strings? Like, really? You're making noise. Everything was so quiet until you started plucking strings, and I'm like, well, I think we're at the same point now, just in a totally different realm. And,
But you know, the other thing is... But you know the other thing as well, this is what I'm trying to say, why it elevates itself from material aspects of life is it's the essence with both art and music, and into a degree writing, but it gets lost in it, but definitely with art and music, it's a universal communicator. Yeah. You can pick up that guitar, walk into the Amazon jungle, and the guy may have some beaten up string instrument, and within 5 minutes you'll be syncing with each other, and you'll be communicating. And that is something that, well, hey, tell you what, you know, that's the beautiful aspect of life, man, and that's what I love about music. That's why that's why I love sessions, because you can communicate with music. It's universal. Anyone, anywhere around the world can understand it, and there's very few things that are like that, man. Art and music are two of them. There's not many.
Yeah, I like music because it is based on mathematics, and mathematics, even for like an alien civilization, we'd be able to communicate music to them because it's just math. Art is just visual stimulation and color, which is technically math as well. Everything is. So if you think about it, the shortcomings of the human language can all be overcome by art because it strips all that miscommunication and politics and debates and all that crap, strips it down and just says, hey, you're my friend, I want to play you a song. You're my loved one, my daughter, my significant other, whatever the case may be. I'm playing you music because I care about you. And this song was written about you. This painting was painted for you. And that alone can be expressed without any language. And it's just like, hey, here you go.
Yep.
Might as well just play it.
Don't say maybe, probably, lately I won't hold you down. Though you see me, do you believe me? I am holding ground. Sometimes it's easier to bottle it up
kind of the short version there, but there you go. And I just want to let everyone know, most of the time, most of the songs you hear on sessions is really only something that my friends and family get to hear. I've never put on a professional album. I've been offered to like go into a really nice studio and produce stuff and sell out to some like record label, but I just never wanted to. Because it sucks the passion out of the music. It turns it into this studio produced like hoobla blah blah whatever you want to call it. Like it just turns it into this just adulterated crap that takes that emotion that, hey, I wrote this for a family member, a loved one, my daughter, my significant other, whatever. It just rips that all out, and I've always just played this for my friends and family, and everyone here on sessions is either friends or family, and there you go. You get to hear what that sounds like. Hope you enjoy it.
Well, dude, man, I you know, it seemed we've been going for like, nearly 3 hours, dude, and it's nearly 3 o'clock in the morning over here. Man,
Yeah.
I would just ask, man, could we just play out of a tune and then we can kill this? Is that good for me? I mean, this is anything particularly that Chris wants to sort of mention. But I'll be happy quite personally just to have another tune, man, because I always love hearing your guitar, dude.
All right.
And I look forward to, and I've got to say this, Brady, man, I look forward to the day we get to jam. And I'll tell you what as well, and I was having this conversation with another person who we both know quite sort of indirectly. And man, there's going to be one hell of an album coming, man, because I can't wait to the day I jam with you and then someone else. And man, we're going to, I look forward to it, dude. And this is what I'm saying. The thing about this, the great thing about this conversation is, I stood back the other day and I thought about this. I thought, wow, we've done so much, and like you were saying earlier on, none of us have met each other. None of us.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, man. And I look forward to the day when we can all sit and do this and meet in person. And that is such a strange thing, and where we got to the point in our life as a human civilization where we can do all this and not meet and look forward to the day we do meet. How strange is that? How strange is that, man? The days we live in.
It's amazing, honestly, and I think it's a neat paradigm because I've had people that I've met online and then finally got to meet them in person, and it's such a strange experience, and it's interesting. I think you get to know people on a whole different level. That's really, really different. So, without further ado, life is people, and I hope everyone enjoyed this as much as I did. And here you go. I'm just gonna kind of do a free jam, and I might bleed into some of my songs, but I'm just gonna play whatever and play from my heart and play for everyone here. So here you go.
Life is people. Life is people. Life is people. Life is people.
My mind is made
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, guys.
Life is people.